We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
And welcome back to Here's to Your Health at LA Talk Live. Boy, do we have a show today. This will be absolutely magnificent. You will want to listen to every segment that there is. My name is Dr. Hans Kugler. I'm a co-host with LA Talk Live. Here's to Your Health. Joshua Lane is on special assignment, and that is a real special assignment. We'll talk about that later. You will be totally amazed. But as a start, we have John Platero here as another co-host, interviewing two very special guests. And here we go.
Hi, welcome to the show. My name's John Platero, and I'm real excited because we get to talk to a dear friend of mine who I've known for over 40 years, Vanessa Evangelatos. And the reason why we're talking to her today is because she's had quite a journey. And I've been a trainer for almost 40 years, and it's always been confusing for me when I talk to people that go through this type of journey, that lose over 100 pounds of weight. So I'm going to learn, like the rest of you, of how this comes about. So, Vanessa, hi.
Hi, John.
So you lost over 100 pounds?
Over 102 pounds, to be exact.
Wow. So what did you weigh? What was your total weight at the top?
232 pounds.
So basically, you almost lost 50% of your body.
Pretty much, yes.
That's pretty crazy. So how did you get? In other words, were you always heavy as a young person?
Not really heavy. I started gaining weight when I was 15. Not to this extreme, of course. Depression kicked in after my mom committed suicide when I was 15. Yeah.
Oof.
So then, yeah.
Are you an only child?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
So that pretty much, it was my comfort food. Whenever I would get depressed, I would start eating and eating and eating. But my real weight gain was after I had my son, Angelo, in 1990.
So let's go back for a second. So I don't even want to repeat the whole suicide thing, but where was your father at this point?
I never met my father. I met my father actually after I graduated university, and I was 22 years old. I met him for the first time.
So you didn't even know where your father was, or you had a father when your mom died?
Well, my mom actually killed herself because my father would not accept me. So he was a very famous singer in Greece.
So what was his name?
Jimmy Makoulis.
And you told me about this before, and I actually looked him up, and yeah, he was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
I Googled him, and he was like he had a really smooth voice.
He was considered like the Frank Sinatra of Greece.
Yeah, I was listening to him. He was really smooth, but he sang a lot in German.
He's international. He sang in different languages, but he left Greece and then became very famous in Germany too.
So that's where you got your voice from.
Oh, I hope so.
Right. So talk about that for a second. Let's talk about something good.
Okay.
Vanessa's an amazing singer. Just beautiful voice. And we know each other because we played in a band together 40 years ago. But she still has a beautiful voice. And you, at some point, met your father and then went to Greece?
I graduated from USIU.
What does that mean?
United States International University.
Where's that?
In London.
Oh.
I graduated from musical theater.
Uh-huh.
And a friend of mine had a surprise for me. I was traveling around Europe. He said, well, let's stop in Greece because I have a surprise for you. And actually he had, it was when I was going to meet my father for the first time.
Did you know you were going to meet your father?
I had no idea. I didn't even speak Greek then.
So you walked in and there was just this guy there?
No. There were 10 of my friends from USIU sitting in a nightclub, in Plaka in Greece, the old part of Greece. And all of a sudden, my friend Taiki stands up, and his face is white, and he says, "Do you see that guy walking to the dressing room?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "Well, that's your dad."
How did he know that?
Because everybody knows who Jimmy Makuli
Oh, right,
is.
right. He's a famous guy.
Everybody knew him.
I got you. Okay, so you meet him.
I meet him, and he didn't want to accept me. So
Wow.
that was another rejection that I felt there. And back to my food.
Right. So now, did you? Were you singing when you were going around Europe?
Well, after that, I did actually get to work with him at the same place. But it was too much of a heartache. It was too much confusion. I had to keep it quiet. I decided to go back to America. Met my first love, Dimitri, and we went back to Greece and started singing there. I learned Greek, and I started singing in nightclubs there, in cruise ships.
But didn't you compete in something?
Oh, that was in 1984.
Okay.
It was Afeterias. It was it was pretty much like the American Idol.
Yeah.
And
So what's your favorite language to sing in?
Français.
Can you
en
sing a
français.
little French? Sing.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien.
See? Such a beautiful voice.
Oh, God.
So okay, so what happens is you get married, you have a child, and then what happens?
And then what happens?
The weight?
The depression really kicked in right after I had my son. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I stopped singing.
Is this a common thing that possibly happens with women when they get pregnant?
Postpartum depression.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I keep blaming my son. But after a year, the baby fat had to be blamed on something
Right.
else.
So did you gain a lot of weight in your pregnancy?
I gained only 30 pounds then. So I was weighing 170,
So you gained,
30 pounds.
and then so from somehow you went from 170 to 230.
Through the years,
That's another 60 pounds.
life started really hitting me. I wasn't singing. I wanted to stay with my son, so I wasn't working. And I felt pretty much useless. My only project was to raise my son. And I retired from the world. And literally for 10 years, didn't go anywhere, didn't talk to anybody, stayed in the house. I was embarrassed that I was really looking huge
Heavy.
by then.
Right. Well, what about your husband? Did he not try and motivate you to go out or to?
That's a whole different show. Unfortunately not. No, I had the support of my son. But pretty much I found myself alone.
Wow. So, because I always, for me, it was difficult for me to accept that and try to not be able to just change, you know,
Yeah.
to let someone get you down or put you in a place. So somehow or another you turn this around. Like, what happens?
I just woke up one morning, this is in 2011, and I saw
So
my
recently?
son. 2011.
Yeah.
54 years old, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
And I looked at my son. I said, I want to be around. I want to be around when he has children. Enough. You got to do something.
Which, by the way, I know her son, and he's a beautiful guy. He's a beautiful young
you.
man, tall, good looking. He's a great
you.
personality. So now, okay, so yeah, you wake up. But people say that all the time. Yeah, you know, I need to change. I need to save money. I need to do that. They do these things all the time. But then what happens?
Well, I did it all my life. I woke up many times, but it was really like sleepwalking, I guess.
Well,
This
what
is
would you
the
do? You
real
would diet?
I
What
would
would you-
diet. I would diet, and I would finish the diet and go back to eating my again, over and over and over and over again. It was a diet, a temporary thing.
But when you dieted, would you lose weight?
Sure, I lost weight. I lost weight fast, you know, and
Right.
then I would starve myself and not eat, and then gain it twice as much. That's what climbed up to the 232.
So I think a lot of people do that. So was food your escape?
Comfort.
Your comfort.
Comfort. And then I saw that my comfort was my biggest enemy.
Right.
And then I said, my age, I guess that's what scared me. Like, I don't have a lot of time left.
Right.
I better do something about this. I don't feel healthy.
Can't get time back,
No.
can you?
No.
So what was the first step? Where did you go?
I went to Jenny Craig.
Oh, wow.
I went to Jenny Craig because I needed structure and I needed
Right.
like a gendarme telling me what to do. And their food is programmed.
I see.
I didn't want to think about what should I eat.
Do they send you the food?
No. You go to the center. You get counseled once a week, and you eat.
And it started.
And it started.
And so, how much did you lose with the Jenny?
102 pounds.
Oh, you were doing Jenny Craig.
I was
this whole
doing
time.
Jenny Craig. Yeah.
What else did you do?
My son started taking me on walks.
Oh,
He would jog around Venice High School, and then I
Yeah.
would walk with my dogs.
oh,
And then my son said, "Okay, it's time to join the gym." I said, "No, it's not. No, I'm not going to do that." And he said, "Yes, you are, Mom. It's enough time." And I don't like working out. I do not have the discipline to go and do weights and
well,
machines.
you weren't athletic as a child.
Well, if you call me chasing my dog around the garden
That's not
athletic, then
Well,
no.
also we're the same age. In our age group, women weren't so much promoted to go do exercise.
Right.
Gyms didn't even allow women. You weren't allowed to even go. So it wasn't something that we did. So you were more an artistic person.
I would sit around the record player. Did I say record player?
Yeah, you did.
A lot of people are not going to know what that is.
No.
Equivalent to a CD player.
Yeah, just bigger.
Just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
That's all I would do. Just sit there and sing all day.
hmm
That was my.
So you go to the gym, and what was it like
I go,
going
"What
to the
am I-"
gym?
I didn't like it. And then I heard music and people dancing to something called Zumba. And I went all the way in the back of the class.
And who was teaching that?
Oh, gosh. I think her name was Audra.
Uh-huh.
And I would stay in the back of the class. And little by little, I kept coming closer and closer and closer. And then I got addicted.
Because you were musical, and obviously
loved it.
musical theater, you must have
Yeah.
danced.
Yes.
So that was something you enjoyed. Now, didn't you work with a trainer or something for a while?
Nope.
What was
I did not.
Loretta?
Loretta, well, she taught Body Works.
Oh.
So, I mean, I took all types of classes. After I started losing weight, burning the fat, I needed to tone. So everything was, as long as there was music in it, I would do it. And the group fitness.
Right. So did you, while you were doing that, I mean, it couldn't have been easy, right? In other
No.
words, at the beginning, there must have been some times where, did you lapse at all? Did you?
I can't believe it. I was like, what do they call the horses that they have
Yeah,
those things on the
blinders.
side? Blinders.
Yeah.
This is the first time in my life that I did not cheat, not even with a piece of gum. I was so determined. I go, because of my age. I
Right.
think that's what did it.
Right. Well, to go through that school, I mean, this is what I don't like about music not being in schools, because music, to play an instrument or to be good at, and your voice is an instrument, it teaches you sacrifice, dedication, perseverance, all the things that you need to become successful in
Right.
life. And I feel that when, people just grab an iPod or whatever, and they just an MP3 player, and they go, "Oh wow, music's there." They don't really get the gist of how much sacrifice it takes. So I'm going to guess that was kind of in you anyway, for something you were passionate about.
That's what
Right.
did it. That's what helped me.
So there's a lot of people, and I hear this from a lot. The woman who cuts my hair, she hates exercise.
Hmm.
She hates it. She says she won't do it. She doesn't like it. She keeps going for plastic surgery and Botox, and she keeps doing that. And she hates exercise. So if you don't like exercise, what do you do?
I don't feel like it's exercise. I'm dancing.
Right.
And then eventually I became a Zumba instructor.
Right. How do you go through? How do you do that?
I was living at the gym pretty much. And
Well, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
When you first went into the gym, you're overweight, right?
oh yeah.
So, because how did you overcome that? What do you do? What was your opinion
I did
of
not
the
like.
gym?
Well, I didn't like to see myself in the mirror. I stayed in the back of the class, and little by little, as I started losing weight and started to accept my new form, because in my mind I'm still fat,
So when you look in the mirror,
it's more acceptable to me.
right?
So I started moving towards the front, and then I just fell in love with the class, with the Zumba, with the dancing, and I said, I have to do this for the rest of my life.
Uh-huh.
I have to keep in shape, not only by eating correctly. I have to do some sort of exercise, and I don't want to go to the gym and lift weights and do that. And
Right.
this is my dream come true.
So now, do you just do Zumba now, or do
Yes.
you do those other body conditioning classes as well, or just Zumba alone?
You want the truth? I
Yeah,
just do
no.
Zumba.
That's what you do.
That's it.
Okay. And what about your eating now?
It's a piece of cake. I got it. I finally got it. This is I know how to portion my food. I know if I eat bread in the afternoon, I'm not going to eat bread at night. I got it. But it took years. It's not only.
So you can eat things that are comforting to you,
Yes.
but you don't do them
Well,
all
I
the time.
substitute also. I don't eat the chocolate, the Hershey's bar. I eat the Skinny Cow. I substitute. I used to drink sodas, Coca-Cola, like bottles a day.
Right.
I drink sparkling ice, which is the same sensation as a soda. So I have learned to substitute a lot of stuff.
So you don't miss those foods
No,
at all?
not at all.
Do you ever, let's say, reward yourself for some once in a while, and you have, say, all right, I might have a soda or a piece of cake or whatever?
No, you know what? If my son has a birthday, I'll have like a tiny little piece of cake just to know that I joined in, but I don't feel like I need to have more.
So you don't miss it?
No.
So because people say that to me, as I love to eat. I love to eat. I could never, I just love to eat. So
Never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never. It is enough. It is enough. Just a little taste. That's enough. You don't need to eat. You really don't. It's all in the mind. I think it's all in mind over matter.
So how many classes you're teaching now?
I teach 4 classes a week.
Yeah. In the evening?
In the evening.
You want to say where you're teaching so they can come and see you? Where do you teach?
LA Fitness.
Which one?
Westchester and sometimes in West LA.
And what time do you teach?
5:45 in the afternoon.
What days?
Mondays and Fridays in Westchester, and they just reopened the new West LA, and I think I'm not sure, Thursday mornings I'm going to be teaching there.
Okay. And then to become that Zumba instructor, was that intimidating, or by that time did you have it down?
Oh no, it was scary, of course, in the beginning, because they see me as a student and how they're going to accept me as a teacher. And because I'm different, I do international music, I do burlesque, I do show tunes. It's a totally different type of Zumba.
Oh, so Zumba's not one particular style of music? Oh.
No, it's international.
Oh,
It's
okay.
international.
Cool. So what was that process like? Is it how do you go through that? Do you have to go to a seminar or workshop, or what do you have to do?
I just got my certificate in less than 6 hours.
Okay. So, but you must have been pretty good then, right? You obviously know how to dance.
I know how to dance.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't not know how to dance and
No.
show up and get a certificate.
No, and
right?
at first I was copying my teacher, Angela, and little by little I started breaking the umbilical cord.
Okay. What about, would you recommend Jenny Craig to other people?
Definitely. Definitely.
Was it the counseling, the food, or the combination?
It was a combination. Definitely the combination.
Okay, well, I want to take a little break right now because I want to find out what else you're doing now.
Okay.
Okay? Let's
Okay.
take a break and we'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
And we're back. Well, welcome back. We've been talking to Vanessa Evangelados about her struggle and her journey from 230 pounds to 130 pounds. And now you're involved in what?
Now that I can make people feel better about their body, I have a very good friend of mine, Tracy, that got me involved in having people feel good about their skin. And it's called Nerium AD.
Which I've been hearing tons about. So I want to introduce, this is Tracy Van Weer, who's a regional marketing director for Nerium International, correct?
Yep.
And she's really 72 years old. Look look at this girl. Oh my God. So tell us a little bit about well, I'll just tell you one thing that I heard is Nerium was an accident.
Yes.
And it came from what?
It actually came from a biotech company, Nerium Biotech, and they were researching different properties of the Nerium oleander plant, and they were applying it to the skin to see if it could cure skin cancer.
Wow. And what did they find?
They found that, unfortunately, we didn't cure skin cancer, but everyone really wanted this product. Their wrinkles were disappearing, their dark spots were leaving, they felt better about themselves. So the company knew they had something.
And what is this company?
Nerium Biotech.
But is that what it was called when they discovered it?
Yes, it comes from the Nerium oleander plant.
Okay. So Nerium is a cancer research?
Nerium Biotech works with several different centers, one of them being MD Anderson. And they were working with them for about 15 years with the Nerium oleander plants. And there's several different properties that it does. But along the way, they do a lot of stuff. Nerium Biotech does a lot of stuff with disease such as autoimmune disorders, not only cancer, but heart disease, diabetes.
So this is kind of a lot of great discoveries are kind of, you're looking for something and you find something else, that you weren't looking for. So this how about long have they been marketing this product?
A little over 2 years.
How's it doing?
We're doing fantastic for a product that costs $80 to do over 300 million in 2 years. It is definitely taking on a mind of its own, and we're only in the United States.
And you recently, there was Vanessa, you sent me a segment that was on the doctors, and I believe it's been a lot in the press, right?
Yep.
A lot of people using it.
A lot of people using it. CBS featured us. They researched our company. And specifically, I think because we're backed by about 10 years of research, we have a lot of credibility.
So show us what it is. What are these bottles I'm looking at?
This is...
Because I've heard about this a lot. And Vanessa's been telling me about it now for a while.
Yes.
So I get to finally see it.
Yes. This is our night cream. This is our flagship product. This is a product that's...
Vanessa, put it right here. See that right here so they can see it. There you go.
Yes.
Nice nails. Okay, so this is the thing that got it. This is the product that got this going.
Yes, okay. and just to kind of break it down so people can understand, anything on the marketplace, typically in 30 days will change your skin 2 to 5%. They did third-party clinical trials 3 different times, and our product changes people's skin about 30%.
Wow. Okay, what's the other one in your hand?
This product just came out. It's our day cream.
Yeah.
And yes.
Vanessa White.
Yeah. There you go. And yes, we love the product because it adds about 15% more moisture in the skin. It has green tea extract, vitamin C, all the great things that are out there. But we have our patent NAE8, which is in it, which basically supercharges everything.
Okay, so what are these magazines you have there? What is that?
Well, this magazine is Success from Home. You want to hold it up for us?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We are featured. This is our second time being featured in the magazine.
What is Success from Home?
Basically, anyone who does home-based businesses.
It's a home-based business magazine.
It's a home-based business magazine.
And this is on the cover of it.
This is on the cover for our second time.
So this is an actual business that you can do from your home.
Actually,
Right.
yep.
And I hear you're doing pretty good there, Miss Regional Superstar, right?
Yeah, so a lot of people are having success. What I love is that I just share the product.
Right.
The product definitely speaks louder than I can. I'm not out there trying to sell anybody on the product.
Right.
For me, I'm going to be 40.
No way.
Yes.
You liar. You're 72. Look at her, man. Okay.
Yes, and all of our friends were trying to stop the clock, and that's why we love it.
You can only slow it down, maybe, but you can't stop it.
I know, but what I love
can
is that
slow it.
if you feel good, and you feel good about yourself, you're just happier. And that's one of the reasons why our founder and CEO, Jeff Olson, he definitely believes in the happiness movement. There's a lot of psychology behind it. And so he just released this magazine.
What is that?
It's Live Happy. It has nothing to do with Nerium, but we definitely promote it. It's on Whole Foods, Sprouts. It's on several different magazines. This is our second month. And for people who use our product or people who are in our business, you get it for free. And we just share it. All the articles in there will definitely change your life. And with me having a psychology background,
That's right.
This is what I love.
You're a psycho.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. We got two psychos here. Three. Me? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. You got to include yourself.
All right.
You got to include yourself.
So just if someone wanted to contact you, Tracy, if you would contact you, how would they contact you to learn more about this product? Or the business, how would they contact you? Vanessa, they would
Yep.
contact you.
Mhm.
So, what's your email?
Well, they could go to the website, which is vanessae.nerium.
Okay, so let's spell that. It's VANESSAE.
VANESSAE
Yeah.
NERIUM.com.
Right. Okay.
vanessae.nerium.com.
And they can contact you there.
Yes,
Okay, so that's cool. And then if they want to come shake it,
they can come shake it.
they can come
They
shake
can
it.
Come shake it.
And you were sharing with me before. What is the business opportunity? Is there for Nerium?
What I love is that regular people are able to come in and have success. We're probably the only company, not just in our industry of relationship marketing, but in any traditional business that actually gives their partners free inventory. So we've given over $200 million in free product to help people promote their business.
Where's mine? Did you get any? I didn't get any. 200 million. We must not be on the list, huh? We're not cute enough, huh? You and me. Okay, well, that's okay. All right, so I understand. But in terms of how much time does it take, or is it just as much time as you have?
Well, that's why I love is, just running into moms, running into our friends. We just, share the product with them. If you have 5 hours a week, you can have a successful 6-figure income if you're coachable and willing to work and have a really good desire. And that's who we're looking for.
Do you have to travel around with it, or can you do it from?
That's why we love this. We have so much in our what we call our marketing center. We just send videos. We just share, basically the science, and we do a lot of things over the phone. There's events across the country that people could plug into.
And would you say, is this an American? Is this made in America?
Yep,
So it's made in America.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Dallas,
Basically
Texas.
by the company who did the science.
Yep, we have a patent. It's a super antioxidant, and no one can duplicate us.
Is there any other products besides the cream? Do they have any other? What else do they have?
Yes, well, actually, they have a pipeline of products, about 12 that have already been tried and tested, but we don't have to release them yet. So they'll be released slowly. Our next one is a contouring cream that is going to blow anything out there on the market.
So is this just for your face, or is it for the rest of your body?
We want a vat of it. I mean, women have seen huge results by placing it on their stomach. We put it on their elbows, their feet, anywhere we
I
want.
mean, it's for scars, for acne, for
Ooh,
Yeah.
we talk
can't
about-
claim it cures
So,
that. Sorry, but I've seen.
What was
my
that movie,
son-
Benjamin? Where you
Benjamin Button.
So if I keep putting this on, am I gonna go backwards?
yeah, we're turning cougars into cubs.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that, Cougars. Well, I want to thank both ladies. I want to thank Tracy and Vanessa.
Thank you.
And you're helping people. You helped yourself. Now you're helping people. And Tracy's helping you help people.
Yes.
And that's awesome.
Yep.
So I want to say thank you, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to LA Talk Live, reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. Stay tuned. Young Connection, your one-stop connection for all your graphic design and commercial printing needs. Young Connection is a full-service printing and media design company dedicated to providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction. Young Connection provides swift response and rapid turnaround services for banners, brochures, business cards, letterheads, church bulletins, funeral programs, flyers, logo design, posters, and much, much more, all at an affordable price. Young Connection, the official printing company of LA Talk Live. Give them a call at 310-491-3336. That's 310-491-3336, or visit their website at www.youngconnection.com. That's www.youngconnection.com. Young Connection Printing and Media Services, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk.
Journey Sisters is an organization that embodies and captivates women from all walks of life. Our membership includes 44 women that are constantly growing in the areas of personal development and community involvement. Monthly, we offer free leadership classes at McKay's Restaurant. Journey aims to inform women in the areas of heart disease and HIV and AIDS. Experience the journey now by logging into www.journeymosaicinc.com. Toll free 888-906-5519. Journey with no excuses.
Hi, this is Susie Pruden. And yes, you've seen me on Oprah, Good Morning America, and The Today Show. And I'm inviting you to join me every Monday from 3 to 4 for my new show, Mastermind Live. Join us as we introduce you to the new thought leaders of the world who will inspire you, support you, and guide you to your next level. So don't forget to tune into Mastermind Live exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Welcome back. My next guest, my name is John Platero, and my next guest is the Studley Sean Finnegan. I can call him. I could tease him because I known him a long time.
That's true.
So actually, I've been a trainer since the 70s, and it's now it's very popular. I'm sure everybody's heard of personal trainer, and like anything, like there's good doctors, bad doctors, good attorneys, bad attorneys. A lot of people call themselves a trainer, but I'm going to say Sean is the real deal. Sean is a real trainer. He has a master's in physical therapy. He has a bachelor's degree in biology. What the hell were you thinking?
I don't know what I was thinking.
Dude, biology? Give me a break, man.
What do you do with that?
Yeah, but he's a real deal. I've known him for maybe 15 years or so, where he's been training, and he's also Studley dude. Look, he's on covers of magazines and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, a little over to the left. Ooh,
yeah.
There you go.
You should show him the other one. It's better.
Yeah, man, dude, you're big there.
I was at 170.
You look huge.
Smoke and mirrors. It's all
huge.
editing.
It looks like a superhero.
They paint my abs in.
So, what's the name of your company?
It's called Core Energy Fitness.
And what's it about?
Well, basically what it is this company came about because we were actually managing fitness centers, rehab centers, and I was doing personal training and physical therapy. I just kind of wanted to do both because one's ill care, one's well care, and I really got intrigued by well care, how to really take care of yourself and really stay in top condition.
Where were you doing the physical therapy?
I was in the Valley, Tarzana. I was managing a fitness club, a country club over there. And the product that I developed out of it was kind of out of necessity because since I do both fitness and rehab, I use a lot of bands and use straps and things like that. And I couldn't find anything on the market that fit both fitness and rehab. So I talked to some engineer guy and I said, hey, look, I need this. It's a really simple thing. I just need it. And then he developed it for me, and then we looked at it, and then we were like, I wonder if we can patent this. So we talked to the patent attorneys, and it turns out something as simple as a hook can be patented. And the design of the hook is really the special part of it, but I'll talk about that later. But it came out of necessity. This,
Well, I got a question in terms. You just said bands. In other words, why are bands kind of associated with therapy as opposed to lifting weights and getting strong? Why is that associated with that?
Well, typically because bands are really cheap, and you can give them out on like a discharge. Let's say somebody needs to continue to do exercise. Insurance can only cover so much, right? So you get, let's say, 10 visits. Okay, so then the rest of the rehab you have to do it on your own. So a therapist will give them the tools they need to do the rehab on their own.
And the bands.
And the bands are affordable.
So the problem is when they go home and they want to do these exercises, it's difficult to do at home, correct?
Right.
So this is part of the solution?
Exactly. Thanks for bringing that up, because there's nowhere to anchor anything in your home really safely. Ultimately, you can slam it into a door jamb or whatever like that, but ultimately it's not safe. And so what I developed is a very safe solution, an affordable solution, so you can have literally a home rehab, gym, Pilates studio at home, so it covers a lot of bases.
And when you're anchored, why do you need to anchor to something?
Well, for safety, it needs, and also for the longevity of the band, and so it needs to secure to something, and that something does, if it wiggles out or somehow. What happened was in the gym, we would have guys put on these bands onto these big pieces of equipment.
That can't move.
Yeah, they can't move, but they're adjustable somehow. And we would have people adjusting while they're doing it. So they're not designed to anchor bands. They're designed to do other things. And so you would get people going, wait a minute, you're tying up this big, huge piece of equipment with a band.
A band. So
it's annoying.
What kind of equipment? What are you talking about?
Like a Smith machine or a leg press machine.
What happened there? Getting buzz.
Are you buzzing?
So
are we buzzed?
Okay, so compare this hook. Like, what kind of piece of equipment would you be using in a gym to pull off what you pull off with this?
We go into the different markets. We go into rehab and fitness basically. So when you compare a home piece with this, you're looking at the total gym for example, that Chuck Norris piece of equipment. That's more like a Pilates kind of strength training tool. Mine is different in that it does not take up any floor space. It's literally mounted into your wall studs or brick or concrete.
This is it?
This is it right here. You want to hold it up? So you can see that. But basically, it's an open-faced hook, meaning you don't have to do any clip hooks or anything like that to attach it.
What are these for?
That's called the hammerhead safety hook. So when you exercise,
it's a good name, man.
Yeah, it's
looks
good.
like a hammerhead.
It looks
shark.
like a hammerhead shark, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically 3 hooks in one. You got the main hook and then the 2 hooks created by the hammerhead barrier tip, we call it. And so that way, if anything rides up, we didn't have that barrier tip in the beginning, and we did some prototypes with it, and it snapped my business partner right in the forehead.
Ooh.
And so we're like, okay, this is not good. Lawsuit, right?
Luckily, it was your business partner.
Exactly. Well, he didn't lose an eye, thank God.
Right.
But it was a pretty devastating blow, so we were almost ready to go to market with it. So we came back with this design, and the hammerhead design was the ticket, because now we can still have the open face feature, which means you don't have to do any clip hooks to attach anything to it. Nothing fancy. It's really, it's loop and go.
Right.
And then if you do any aggressive exercise, up or down, side to side, that little hammerhead barrier tip is going to catch it and allow for zero disengagement whatsoever.
Now, do you have versions that are longer?
No.
With more hooks up the line?
Right. Well, you just buy more of those.
I see.
So we
you
have
just stack them, or put them at different heights.
Yeah, you put one at your ankle height. You put one at chest height. You put one over the head.
And that's all you need.
That's all you need, pretty much. And and then all the bands that go with it. You can do any type of band on it. So there's several different types of bands: flat bands, large loop bands, small loop bands, braided bands.
Do you have the bands?
Yeah, we sell the bands too. Yeah, we sell the whole kit for a whole gym. For a lifetime guarantee, $182. And this thing will never break. We spec'd it out so high. Commercially, we spec'd it out so it can go into gyms. We have, gyms use it, military uses it, and so on.
So, for example, this could, in other words, the exercises we're pretty much addressing are pulling exercises.
No,
You can push and pull.
You can do the TRX kind of stuff, the suspension type training.
Okay, and let me just say what say what TRX is. What
TRX is a company. They do suspension trainings. It's basically your body weight training. So you have a non-elastic strap with handles on the end, and you use your body at certain angles, which will create the resistance in your muscles that you need.
So you could use that on this too?
Yeah, you can use that.
Okay.
Any type of suspension strap.
Okay, so in the gym, we would use like a cable cross.
You can do that with this too. You basically get 2 systems side by side, and now you have like a functional trainer.
Oh, I see.
And you can have the bands go side to side now, up and down, side to side.
But I have a cable cross, and it was about $3,000.
Right. Well, for less, it's a lot less, more affordable,
cheaper.
A lot cheaper.
All right. So basically, you would just have different strengths of bands.
Correct.
To add more resistance.
Right. Yeah, bands are really affordable. They have nice handles now, and bands last anywhere from a year on up, depending on how you take care of them. And
do you have some kind of fitness programming along with this?
Yes, I developed what I call the Core Wellness Program.
What does that consist of?
It's 3 components. It's nutrition education, it's strength training, and cardio conditioning. And I teach everybody. Since I've been doing this for so long, I've kind of just collected the good and got rid of the bad.
Yeah.
And I've kind of bullet pointed it out into like 13 different points for nutrition.
Oh, you got some bands there.
I got some bands, yeah.
All right, can I see one of those?
Sure.
Okay, so these, I've actually heard about these bands from other trainers on how good they are. Wow, they're really big.
Well, our bands are different because since I'm a guy and I have wider hands, most of the handles on the market are not so wide. See?
Yeah.
That's wider, so it's a lot more comfortable.
And most of the handles are really wimpy.
Right. These are it's wider and it's got a lot sturdier feel. Right, exactly. So we really like these and we think that people will appreciate the extra effort we made on these.
Well, where is Core Energy Fitness?
It's in Tarzana, California, where Tarzan was living at one time.
Is that your website?
It's coreenergyfitness.com. And if people want to go check out the wellness program, it's at the very top. It's called the Core Wellness Program.
And this is the one you just said that has the 3 components of cardio?
It's nutrition education. It's strength training, and it's cardio conditioning.
So and do they have to come there to get this program?
Or they can call me. You can call me anytime.
Okay,
I
so
coach
they can
people
go
all
to
the time.
coreenergyfitness.com?
.com.
Okay, and so how So you would deliver the program through the internet or on the phone or something like that.
Well, it's always posted online. So if you get a system, or if you don't get a system, if you get the bands, whatever you do, you can still follow the program I have. It's still basic strength training concepts, cardio concepts, nutrition concepts. We don't sell anything nutrition-wise. We don't sell any supplements. I don't believe in all that stuff. But I do believe in what I've studied and what I've applied to myself over the years. It's really worked. I'm less than 10% body fat. And it's really you
look the same 15 years ago. This guy doesn't age. I don't know what the hell he's doing. We should get those Nerium girls back here and find out what he's eating.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
It's just consistent things over time.
So what is the nutrition program? What is it based on?
Well, the main objective behind the nutrition program is to eat balanced meals so you regulate insulin. So if you're regulating insulin, then you're controlling how much fat your body's storing. Okay, so if you keep your insulin levels in check and low, your body's going to not store body fat.
So are you eating small meals a day?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, we've all heard it before, right?
Yeah.
So eat four to five. Eat every 3 to 4 hours. Basically, when you wake up, eat within the hour. Every 3 to 4 hours after that, try to do whole natural foods, not refined, not processed. I mean, you can't. If you're going up on stage, yes, people do that. Comply 100%. But I tell people, don't get freaked out. Just kind of, do what you can do. Take all those 13 bullet points and start applying them. Like one's real easy is just cut out fruit juices, for example. I had a guy one time he was almost at his goal, 15 pounds off. And I was like, dude, what are we doing here? What's wrong? He's like, well, I said, well, tell me everything you eat and drink. So he goes, yeah, well, at bedtime, I have a bunch of cranberry juice, a lot of cranberry juice. And I was like, dude, well, here's what you need to do. Stop doing that. And guess what? He got to his goal weight real fast. Yeah.
What about people who, I hear that they wake up and they're just not hungry?
Okay, so for those people that have trained their bodies to not eat, what I tell them to do is, even though I don't advocate shakes and things like that, like those are refined and processed foods.
Yes.
But sometimes they're used as a tool to introduce, to start revving up your metabolism. So I tell people, okay, have a shake in the morning. You can make a really nice shake with the proper amount of protein, carbs, and fat, maybe some peanut butter in there for the fat, some frozen strawberries and bananas and whatever, and then the protein powder. Men, I tell them, try to hit the mark of 30 to 40 grams per meal. Women, 15 to 25 grams per meal, every meal, okay? And try to have only a source of protein from animals or animal-based or animal-derived.
So that's not a lot of protein in a meal. Right?
No.
It's like a chicken breast. Maybe.
Yeah, chicken breast for a man. Yeah, exactly. It's not that much.
Right.
But, to answer your question is that I would tell people, okay, do a shake in the morning and kind of sip on it throughout the day. And over the course of an hour. And then once your body starts to say, okay, now I'm ready for more food, then you introduce that.
Now, what's your opinion on nighttime? Like you'll hear, don't eat after 6 or don't eat after 7 or don't eat after. Is there?
I don't believe in that.
Okay.
No, it's not. See, everybody's got their own schedules. Okay,
Yes.
So if you comply with what I tell you, which means every waking hour. Okay, waking hours is once you wake up, that starts the clock, and then once you go to bed, that stops the clock. So everything in between is fair game. So when you wake up, within the hour of waking, you eat a meal. Every 3 to 4 hours after that, up until 1 hour before you go to bed, as long as the meal is balanced, created with whole natural foods, you're not eating Oreo cookies and, you know what I'm saying? People binge eat at night.
No Oreo cookies, man. What are you talking? Not,
I know
geez.
you can do it, but
yeah. So and then, so that's would you say nutrition is 50% of the equation? Is it the majority of the equation? Is the exercise the majority of the equation?
Okay, if you have to look at percentages, it's 50-50, okay? However, you have to have the first 50% in place, which is the nutrition, in order for the exercise to be effective. Because you're feeding your body crap and you're exercising, you might get 2 steps forward, but you're going to go a step and a half back, right? So what's the point?
Gotcha.
So I tell people, okay, Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday, stay compliant with eating every 3 to 4 hours, eating whole natural foods, balanced meals, hydrating, and
do you recommend a lot of water, or what's your recommendation?
Well, usually it's half your body weight in ounces.
Half your body weight in ounces.
Yeah.
But in pounds?
Yeah, pounds.
So if I'm 160 pounds, 80 ounces of water.
Right.
Okay, and then what about sleep?
Sleep, I tell people, okay, it's really super duper important. So, okay, it's really important to sleep. Sorry, I'm rocking back and forth. But a lot of people disregard it as part of their health program. But I tell people, it's so important to get your rest because that's when all the magic happens in your body. All the things really need to recuperate.
And I read a study somewhere that they kept a bunch of people awake for hours and they actually retained fat.
Well, yeah, because it triggers the I can't remember the name of the hormone, cortisol. Because you're stressing your body out, right?
Yeah.
So it triggers that hormone to release, and because cortisol increases your body fat. So
rest is just as important.
Rest
as the
is key.
exercise.
You got to weave it in. Just like anything else, you got to weave it into your lifestyle. You got to make it part of your daily program and make it a non-negotiable. I tell people, fitness is so important. I mean, every study, I ask anybody, professionals and non-professionals, the same question, and they answer the same. What's the most important part of being healthy? What do you need to do? I need to eat right and I need to exercise. So, okay, let's all start doing that.
Okay.
But, let's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's put it into your daily schedule. Make it a non-negotiable.
So your program, this wellness program, the core wellness program, is it 3 days a week, 2 days a week? What is it?
It's for your life every day.
So it's a lifestyle.
It's every day.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I tell people, okay, I go off the program once or twice. And the holidays I go way off, okay, because it's holidays and I don't care. I want to enjoy the holidays. Right. I mean, and then the rest of the year I have to stay tight and everything like that.
Right.
But I tell...
but it's an exception.
It's an exception, right. So you got 2 weeks, maybe 3 of just, debauchery, right? Go for it, okay? Because you're going to get back on track, but, just get back on doing the right things every day. And, if you weave it into your lifestyle, for example, my cardio, it takes a little time to do cardio, as you know.
Yes.
So what I do is I set myself up for success. So I have a little spinning bike at home, and I love to watch Comedy Central, whatever.
Right.
I just like all that stuff, right? And so I figured I'm going to watch X amount of TV per day, right?
That's it.
And so if I'm watching TV, I can exercise while I watch TV, and create this kind of a combination of good things for me.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people that are listening, they have the same intention, right? They're going, hey, yeah, I'm going to do the debauchery for 3 weeks and I'm going to get on track. Okay. So why do so many people fail? Why?
Because they don't know why they're doing what they're doing. You've got to understand the reasons why and have a really strong why that will never deviate. So you'll never get off the path. My reasoning is because I had cancer.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I had cancer.
Were you a smoker?
No, I had throat cancer.
Just got lucky.
Got lucky. And so I had to go through all this stuff, and I was so unhealthy.
How did you beat that?
Chemo and radiation. So, and this is a couple years ago, right?
Wow.
I didn't tell you, obviously.
No, man.
Yeah.
You look fine.
Yeah, I was on a feeding tube, and I was malnourished,
Did you lose
dehydrated.
a lot of weight?
Lost a lot. I was down 130 some pounds. Now I'm 175.
Wow.
So I was feeling really disgusting, and I felt like I was going to die.
Wow.
And so that motivated me because I have kids and everything. So I want to stick around.
How many
and do the
kids
right
you
thing.
have?
A couple.
Did you change your nutrition from that?
Yeah, I was before cancer. I kind of went off the beaten path a lot. I was 205 pounds. I was probably 25% body fat. I didn't do the things that I tell people to do. I kind of lost my way.
Right.
And so
why did you lose your way, you think?
There's lots of reasons.
Right.
But I'm not going to blame it on anything. I just lost my way. And people, that happens. People cycle. So, and then I used a traumatic event like cancer as a turning point for me to say, I'm wasting time. I got to treat my body better. I've got to, I don't want to just have my abs in because I'm modeling or anything. I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
I want to just be in shape.
Right.
So I can do stuff.
What did your diet, is there something specific that fights cancer, nutrition-wise? Is there something that people should be aware of in terms of, I've heard of alkalinity and
I do that
like
water, alkaline water. I'm doing a lot of stuff. The jury's out on a lot of the things, But, obviously eating healthy choices, eating whole natural foods, because whole natural food is your medicine. And so I introduced a lot more vegetables, a lot less refined processed foods into my diet, because I was eating a lot of bread and rice and pasta and just, that's not good.
I love it though.
I know it's good, but I eat it once a week now.
Yeah,
so,
right.
And like
okay, so now in your program,
Mm-hmm.
can people? Do you, in other words, when I asked you, okay, why do people fail, and you said because they don't know why. So do you educate them?
Mm-hmm. Well, I ask them. I say, why are you going to do this? What's motivating you to start? I mean, a lot of times with vanity, I don't want to take off my shirt. I feel embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Use that, but don't forget it.
Right.
Get a picture of yourself when you're really disgustingly fat, and put it up on the wall.
Yeah.
And
so when you say I hate doing this, but then look at the picture and go,
yeah, that's motivating. If you get something that really, really motivates you to the nth degree, and whether mine, it's my kids, it's it's that, it's so everybody has their own why, but just tap into it, identify it, write it down, tell people, because they have everybody on board with you, because most people want to support you in your health endeavor.
Well, you would hope so.
You would hope so. Some people are naysayers, like, what are you doing that for? But I try to really make it so simple that it's so easy to do. It's also easy not to do, but it's really not to. But if you take little baby steps, I always start my clients out. Okay, you're here right now. You feel horrible. You're overweight, and you have bad energy. You're eating poorly. You're not hydrating. All these things. Okay, let's pick a couple things off the chart here, and let's try to do those
little by little.
Yeah, little.
And I find a lot of people, though. I've come across people that are not healthy or overweight, and they'll tell me they feel fine.
Because that's their normal.
Right.
Yeah, they don't know what not being in shape feels like, because they've been out of shape all their life, right?
Right. That's the problem, is they don't know.
Right.
So, and I find also for myself, like anything, it takes a lot of work to be really good at something.
Right.
And sometimes that's challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to that level of where you're very fit, it's an incredible feeling that you want to stay there. But I've been injured, or you in your case had a cancer. When you fall out of shape, you get to another normal where that kind of feels okay.
Sure.
Because I like donuts.
Yeah, you adapt.
So now I adapt, and now the high or the feeling that I had of being really in shape, it's kind of a memory, and now I'm in this new place where, because I love steak and I love French fries, and I start eating that, and then I'm not as fit, but I'm like people say, I feel fine.
Yeah.
I feel okay, but it's just they just don't know the difference.
Right.
So the challenge is to get them to their norm here, go through that uncomfortable, and I equate it to like playing a guitar. You want to play songs, and you start with scales, which is, and your fingers boring. And finally, when you cross over where you can play some chords, and it starts to be fun, and now you're going, wow, it's not a chore to practice, because now I'm having fun. I get this new norm.
Right.
There's that stage of getting through the uncomfortableness of being not good at it to getting good at it, and that's where I think a program, or a trainer such as yourself, like, helps them get through that, to establish those new habits.
Right. I always tell people to focus on just the little habits every day, because there's so many different habits you can do. Let's just focus, it's like when you're hiking a mountain. You don't try not to look up at the mountain, because it's pretty daunting.
You look down.
Yeah. Just keep stepping.
Step.
Yeah. So that's why I tell people, just keep stepping, keep doing the right things, do more right than wrong throughout the week, and just process of addition. You'll get better.
So I got a question: at what in your program do you have you ever had to like text people like every 3 hours to go, hey, now?
I'd like to do an app, actually. So when you eat, I think there is one actually, that when you eat and then you hit a button, and then every 3 hours it'll give you an alert to eat again, because people forget. They're like, when did I eat again?
I remember back in those LA Fitness days when I was driving around, I had a watch that had a countdown timer, which I believe was for the meter. When you would put money in a meter, and you go, well, I got 2 hours, I'm shopping, and you could set it for 2 hours. And I remember I did exactly what you said. I set it for 3 hours, And I was so surprised when it would go off because I wasn't really hungry.
Right.
I was just a little hungry.
Uh-huh.
And in my normal day, I'd be driving, to Chino, stuck in traffic, whatever, and I would blow it up. Like I never thought about the 3 hours, and I would wait till 5 or 6, and then I would be famished.
Yeah.
And whatever was in front of me, whatever it was, I would eat.
You're down in it.
As I was
Yeah,
so hungry.
so hungry.
So it really surprised me that every 3 hours, to make yourself just have a pear or
just something every 3 to 4. Just be prepared. I always carry my bag of stuff around. I have nuts in there and certain things. So
Are we going out?
Ultimately, you got to be prepared.
Are we going out? Are we out? Oh, we're breaking or we're done? We're done. Are we done?
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. I wanted to get his. I wanted to get his. I want to get your website again. It's Core Energy.
CoreEnergyFitness.com.
See, right there. Okay, cool.
Good job, man.
So wrap out.
You've been listening to Sean Finnegan.
Hey, everybody.
And John Platero at LA Talk Live.
Nice.
Thanks for listening.
Good job, John.
Thanks.
You're the man. You're the man.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Sequoia Neff.
And this is Jay Rios.
And I'm Sherrod Moore.
Inviting you to join us every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Battle of the Sexes as we discuss his and her views on topics no one wants to touch.
Where we keep it 100% real.
And interesting.
And it is pure comedy.
So don't forget to tune in to Battle of the Sexes Mondays at 7 p.m.
Exclusively on LATalkLive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio.
Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure.
This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Jerry Bell of the Daz Band in New Birth.
And I'm Brahima Arsalan.
Inviting you to join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Time for Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics, baby.
Join us as we play some of the greatest hits of soul and R&B and listen in to interesting discussions with the legends of the music.
So don't you forget, join us on the Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics. You'll love it. Exclusively on latalklive.com.
You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio.
Or watch us and listen directly at latalklive.com, baby.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure.
This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk, baby. We're music.
Hi, this is Dr. Lewis Logan, inviting you to join me every Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon for Faith on the Front Line. We don't just talk about it. We are about it. That's our motto. Don't just talk about it, be about it. We highlight the issues and challenges that we face today and how faith communities and leaders make a difference. So don't forget to tune in to Faith on the Front Line, exclusively here on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B and watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dawn Christie inviting you to join me every Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, for my all-new show, The Dawn Christie Show. Join me as I discuss love, spiritual readings, your purpose, why am I born, what am I here to do. So don't forget to tune in The Dawn Christie Show at 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey y'all, I'm Shaquem Williams, and I'm the host of The Shock Factor here on LA Talk Live. We broadcast to the world every Friday at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Live music, live performances, we're just live. Chef Momo, Life MC, Diana, and once again, your host, Shaquem Williams. So come join us every Friday here at LA Talk Live, the world-leading broadcasting internet radio station. The Shock Factor. The Shock Factor. Join us on The Shock Factor.
Hi, this is Barbara Perkins, inviting you to join us every Sunday afternoon at 2:40 for Sisters at the Well Radio, a conversation with women about women. Join us as we share stories about current events, jazz events, business opportunities, health and wellness, entertainment, and so much more. So don't forget to tune in Sundays at 2:40, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
And welcome back to Here's to Your Health at LA Talk Live. Well, you know me by now. I work in aging research, alternative medicine, health, anti-aging, etc., etc. And in this field, we very, very often complain about our present healthcare system, right? And we have today a magnificent young lady, a little brain I call her, talking about the Affordable Healthcare Act. Denisha Jones, she's an insurance agent, has offices in Los Angeles and California, and she will tell us why you should really take a closer look at that and why it is important and all the data that support the healthcare programs. And welcome, Denisha Jones, to our program here.
Hi.
Well,
thank you very much.
So, where are we going to start? See, in the alternative medicine field, most of the time the experts complain about the present healthcare system, but many of them don't understand that over the years, international health organizations have rated the U.S., right? Yeah. And starting about 12 years ago, some very distressing data came in. That means the U.S. was number 50 in the world in respect to healthcare. And every year, every year they try to improve that ratio, but it doesn't work. Like this year's evaluation showed that according to 3 different groups, one World Health Organization, the other one a U.S. organization, the other one a German organization, rated U.S. healthcare as number 37, 47, and 52. That means we are outdone by other countries that are underdeveloped and, in our definition, we explain that by those companies being lucky that they don't have enough money to buy all the drugs, right? Because the drug industry is dominating this field as we see it by merely managing disease and not really finding cures, right? But that's not really an area that we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the new approach to, healthcare in the U.S. And so tell us a little bit more. At first, maybe how did you get into this field?
Good. Thank you for asking, and thank you for giving that important data that a lot of people in the United States are unaware of. So the reason why I got into the industry is because at the age of 17, I experienced the pitfalls of our healthcare system. And basically what ended up happening was at the age of 17 years old, I realized that our healthcare system had some holes in the system. For example, my father, at that time, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And we had health insurance, a really good plan through a very good company. But after he passed away, the health insurance expenses were far beyond what the insurance policy stated that they would cover. And as a result, my family had to file for bankruptcy. We lost our home. And I became homeless, all within a blink of the eye at 18 years old. So I always remember those days. And later on in my life, I decided to help clients with regards to education and help them from basically understanding the healthcare system and protecting themselves by being proactive and understanding how their healthcare plan works in the system. And that's where the Affordable Care Act comes in, right? Yeah, it comes in now. I've owned my business for 10 years, so
right.
Yeah. So it actually was the Affordable Care Act, or the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, which is the long version of this law. It was signed into law in 2009. I actually went to D.C. To rally for parts of the bill. I was representing a insurance association called National Association of Financial Advisors, and met with government officials about what things should be in the bill, what things should be taken out of the bill to make sure that people are protected, and businesses were protected as well. And now I own my own agency. I help business owners primarily with regards to their health insurance.
Okay, so how can people reach you? Do you have a website, or do you want to give out a telephone number? Or?
Yeah, so people can reach our company by giving us a call. You can give us a call at the local Los Angeles number, which is 310-281-6029. The company is D.A. Jones Insurance Services. And we've been in business for 10 years, and basically we come out and we help clients with regards to finding a plan, figuring out their budget, making sure they're not going to go bankrupt on the plan that they're actually on if something were
right. Do you have a website too?
Yeah, the website is www.dajones.insurance.org.
Okay, magnificent.
Thank you.
Okay, very good start. Give us a little bit more. I looked at yours. I have a book out. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Yeah, so the second edition is actually going to be out on February 1st. The book is called The Simple Reader's Guide to Understanding the Affordable Care Act. And the bill is basically, some people disagree and some people agree with the title, but it's really it's the ACA for dummies. That's really what it is. It's for people who really just aren't into reading 2,000 pages about a boring law that they don't understand, and just reading a book that's 100 pages. They can get through it in 2 days and really get the basics of what exactly this law covers and how they're affected.
Yeah, I was very impressed reading that, because every chapter is relatively short.
Yes.
But it's down to the point.
Yes.
I mean, you just can't argue with the data that you present.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, so what made you write this book? I mean,
I
just wanted to bring the ideas across to people, that there's a better way than what we have today, or?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Mhm.
I decided to write the book because I noticed that there were books on the market that were very politically focused, opposed to educational
Mhm.
focused, and I decided to write something that was a little different
Mhm.
for business owners, so they can just kind of look, reference. There's parts of the book where one page, they decide that they want to find information in the book. They look it up. It's in bold print. The answer. It's like 3 sentences, and they're done. They
Mhm.
actually are educated enough to get it, because I understand that business owners don't have a lot of time to understand what's happening, but I do understand that it's important for them to understand what's happening because it's affecting them and their businesses.
Absolutely, and
so-
you're very polite the way you express yourself there.
Oh, well, thank you
from
very
a-
much.
From
It's
another,
a good day. You call me on a good day. Not always. I defend my clients
Yeah.
sometimes too, so I can
Uh-huh.
get pretty nasty.
well,
Depends on the day.
from other aspects, when we talk to health professionals, like a few weeks ago, I was in Las Vegas at the Congress of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, right? And a very heavy focus is on present treatments. Now, this is not what you get into, but this is what healthcare professionals really look at, right?
Yes.
And I mean, we truly believe that our healthcare system is ranked so low because the pushing of the drug companies actually gets us to the point where we merely do disease management, right? If you have a disease, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Now you can bring us your money for the rest of your life, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Take a look at for one example. I think I mentioned that you already. Depression. Simple depression, right? A friend of mine, Dr. John Grice, Wisconsin University, is a psychiatrist, an MD, and he looked at that, and he's also involved in fitness. And a couple of his patients, young students at the university, they came in with the SCL9, the depression score, showed a high degree of depression, right? And it so happened that he forgot to bring some information, important information, to another office which was across campus. So he said, well, I have to do this. Why don't you come along and we'll talk, while we walk. And he recognized they were really loosening up, right? And after that, literally 20 minutes walk there, dropping off the thing and coming back. I mean, they were communicating in a totally different way. I mean, the people that were really livened up, they weren't really behaving like depressed, et cetera, et cetera. So he initiated a program where he just applied the simplest exercise program developed by the American College of Sports Medicine, ACSM, right? Which is basically, it says 3 times a week, 30 minutes, heart rate elevated in the right range, right? And heart rate elevated in the right range is basically 220 minus your age, and you want to do 70 to 80% of that. That's very safe, and so on and so on. And when you applied that, he found that literally 96% of all those people that were rated as depressed came out of it. There was a young lady within 2 weeks of following an exercise program, and she really recognized that this was really working. And within 2 weeks, she was down to normal according to SCL9, the depression score. And that's not a score where you can cheat, right? I mean, there's just so many different questions, and you don't even know which one aims at analyzing your depression and so on. It showed that. And she started jogging. And while she was doing that, she fell and had a little injury on her foot. And within 2 weeks, depression jumped up again.
Amazing.
So it took some tutoring, and she started swimming and back into normal ranges.
Yeah.
Now, he presented those data at the American College of Sports Medicine annual meetings. There was H.C. Brown from Western University, too, came in. I mean, it is something that is totally, totally demonstrative. But now, let's take a look at the financial aspects of that. In general, when you listen or you look at their television, right, and it says, well, if the antidepressants that they're not using today, if they don't really work very well, why don't you add another antidepressant to it, and so on and so on. Well, the reality of this is the very first antidepressant where insurance company pays most of it is still about $150 a month. And if you add a second one, it jumps up to $550, right? I mean, it gets unbelievable. unbelievable. So, in bottom line evaluation, we spend about, in the U.S., $18 billion on antidepressants. Then we have about $4 to $6 billion in doctor visits, analysis, tests, blood tests, and so on and so on. But what many people in this field overlook is that the side effects of depression, I mean, the effect on, work performance, social interaction with people, and so on, you can assign a value, and that is close to another $20 billion.
Yeah, I'm a life example of being able to change my life by being healthy. I was actually diagnosed as a young child as an asthmatic, and in my teenage years, I actually ended up eating better, eating healthier, taking walks 3-4 times a week, until I had no more symptoms. And about 3 years ago, as a dedication to my father, who passed away at 17, who basically changed my life and inspired me to be able to push the envelope with whatever I decide to do, as well as taking care of myself, getting my education, etc. I decided to run a marathon. So I trained for LA Marathon. I ran the LA Marathon and dedicated that marathon to him, as well as raise money for charity. And I highly encourage my clients on a regular basis to make sure that they're adding in that, proactive, health conscious mindset in addition to the insurance, because I do see long term that being beneficial. And with regards to the Affordable Care Act right now, what's going to be happening, a lot of people aren't really seeing it right now, because it's the first really major year that things are changing, where people see it with regards to the health insurance plans. But behind the scenes, physicians are going to be paid, compensated on a structure that encourages health, encourages, the health of the patient, the improvement of health with the patients. And the more that the patient is getting healthy, becomes healthy, the physicians are actually going to be compensated more, opposed to the regular system, which was, hey, let's diagnose this particular disorder and let's, prescribe a medication, which is not helping the cost of health insurance.
Yeah, I mean, several years ago at the American College, anti-aging medicine meeting, we got together with a number of doctors, and we made recommendations to the government, right? There was a previous administration, and emphasized the importance of health education. Yeah. It's very important, naturally. And there were some recommendations, for example, that healthcare coverage, if you're doing everything right, or you're just trying to do things right, I mean, from the different health practices, right? I mean, that wasn't even very well defined. If you actually look at any kind of definition, or you try to find a definition of what is health, what is lifelong health, the answers are pretty damn ridiculous. Some of that. It's the absence of disease. Well, big deal, right? I mean, and then there was my former mentor again, Charask, and this guy was absolutely magnificent. He defined lifelong health as a state of homeostasis by doing so and so many health practices correctly. It was very simple, right? And then in some project with him, we demonstrated that lifelong health is synonymous with optimum health, least rate of aging, best possible state of health in respect to immune functions, best recovery from disease, right? Fitness, sexuality, and so on and so on. So it makes total sense.
Sexuality.
Oh, definitely.
I didn't hear about that with the ACA. I think they should add something like that in there.
Oh, definitely.
What about Viagra? What happens to Viagra? All those men that are, running around Viagra, they'd save a lot of money, I guess, if you work on that.
Well, there's actually better methods now, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Wow, I didn't know.
I mean, I'd love to demonstrate
Share,
them to you.
Please. That's awesome. Maybe after the show.
Anyway, yeah. But, a lot of these things, they go together. For example, a few years ago, scientists discovered a very important molecule in our body, in the blood. It's called nitric oxide. Well, nitric oxide is such a small molecule. It's just two atoms together, a nitrogen and an oxygen molecule. And it's found in the blood. You can analyze it. You can also do what the doctor has, the saliva sticks. You put a little bit of saliva on it, and you can measure that, right? And the connection between that and nitric oxide and sexuality is in the medical literature is pretty damn well established. I mean, that's really the basis of Viagra, right? What it works on. Viagra enhances the nitric oxide. But a key part here is in respect to nutrition, with the low quality nutrition that we are consuming, where we have a very large percentage in there of certain sweeteners. There's one called high fructose corn syrup. Right? High fructose corn syrup is actually known as in a kidding way, as Japan's revenge to World War II. Right? Because it's discovered in Japan. It's has fantastic sweetening capacity, and it's put into everything. I mean, I tell people when I do health counseling with them, read all the labels, and anything that has HFCS in the high fructose corn syrup, dump it. Yeah, right? Absolutely. And very recently, Robert Lustig from Davis University has a magnificent video out on the internet. It's called Sugar, the Bitter Truth. And he explains there that every cell in your body can handle glucose, right? Regular blood sugar. However, if you add high fructose corn syrup or sweetener to it, this fructose can only be metabolized by the liver. And if it does so, it converts the fructose, a quote-unquote natural sugar, big baloney, right? And to fat. It causes fatty liver. And in the process of doing so, it affects NOS. NOS is nitric oxide synthase. That's an enzyme that makes the nitric oxide. So we're going into all kind of different aspects from that, right? And the nitric oxide has been lowered. As a matter of fact, in 98, 3 researchers got the Nobel Prize for the discovery of nitric oxide, and then many of us tried to put together a supplement that we can take, as a supplement to increase nitric oxide. I didn't continue because the starting material is sodium nitrate and nitrate, were a little bit toxic, whatever. But anyway, just a couple of years ago, Texas University was successful in doing so. They take 2 fruity extracts, put them together in a lozenge, fruity lozenges, and within 20 minutes, you can use the saliva sticks and see and demonstrate that the nitric oxide actually increases in your body, right? So there are many different aspects to do so. Well, it's just a little bit, getting a little bit away from our topic here,
That's okay.
right? Okay. Now, you will also be giving a talk here soon on Thursday.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, tell us about that.
I will be the presenter at First Republic Bank in downtown Los Angeles. I'll be presenting the Affordable Care Act update there. It's going to be very fun. I'm really looking forward to educating attorneys as well as business owners and some physicians as well on what's happening in the market with the healthcare reform. So yes, I'll be doing that Thursday night here in Los Angeles. I'm actually going to San Francisco after our show, and then I'll be coming back just to present to the public on what's happening.
Good, it's magnificent. So
Absolutely.
People out there, if you get a chance and so on, tell your doctors, tell your employers about that. And so again, what will be the date on this? Will it be Thursday? At what time and where?
Yeah, Thursday at 5 p.m. at First Republic Bank on Figueroa. Peggy Lim, she is the vice president there. If you want to if you want to attend, give her a call and she'll be able to make room for you.
Okay, some more of the other data. I mean, telephone numbers, websites, and so on and so on.
Yeah. So with First Republic Bank or with my...
with your personal.
Okay.
I mean, how can they reach you?
Yeah. So with my business, it's D.A. Jones Insurance Services. We're located in Los Angeles. We also have an office in San Francisco. And the Los Angeles office phone number is 310-281-6029. The website is www.D as in Debbie, A as in Apple, J as in Jack, O as in Opera, N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, and S as in Sam, so D.A. Jones, and then the word insurance.org. And we definitely would love to help you. So we help business owners primarily with regards to getting the best price with regards to their particular health insurance needs, as well as providing them the best service, best quality. We're passionate about what we do, and we want to make sure that we stand by our clientele long term.
It's a very important part because personally, I'm not a great supporter of Obama. right? I mean, I'm more
Oh,
conservative along those
okay.
lines. But I really, I mean,
I don't talk about politics. I just get trouble.
my complaint along those lines is really very often that Republicans don't behave like real Republicans. If they would follow real Republican principles, then that would be a change. And from the, the Obama aspect, they make fun of the, Affordable Care Act and so on. And I say, no, this stuff earlier, take a look at the data, really, That's a very important part.
A lot of people don't like Obama, but I have to say that he was the only president in the past, 100 years that was able to pass healthcare reform. It literally was 100 years of presidents trying to pass this reform bill.
Yeah, it was definitely needed.
It's been a while.
No question about it.
Yeah. And so he's able to be the one that pushed it through, which is amazing to me. But I just kind of stay out of it with regards to politics. But I think... I definitely feel that the healthcare system needs to change in some manner. It wasn't going in the right direction, and I feel that the ACA is definitely helping it kind of have a little bit more control of our health, and be responsible for our health and be responsible to the world. So
it was
get better rating.
Magnificent. Okay, give us the website again and where you're going to be talking on Thursday.
Sure. All right, so the website is www.dajonesinsurance.org, and I'll be talking at First Republic Bank at 5 p.m. in downtown Los Angeles. I look forward to connecting with you soon. Please contact Peggy Lim there if you would like to attend. Primarily business owners will be attending. So.
Absolutely magnificent.
Thank you, Hans.
I knew you would be a magnificent guest.
Thank you very much.
Right?
And you're just a great host.
Thank you. And Richard, our engineer here, he is just the man who keeps everything rolling along.
Great. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in to LA Talk Live, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. Stay tuned. Young Connection, your one-stop connection for all your graphic design and commercial printing needs. Young Connection is a full-service printing and media design company dedicated to providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction. Young Connection provides swift response and rapid turnaround services for banners, brochures, business cards, letterheads, church bulletins, funeral programs, flyers, logo design, posters, and much, much more, all at an affordable price. Young Connection, the official printing company of LA Talk Live. Give them a call at 310-491-3336. That's 310-491-3336, or visit their website at www.youngconnection.com. That's www.youngconnection.com. Young Connection Printing and Media Services, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk.
Hi, this is Susie Pruden. And yes, you've seen me on Oprah, Good Morning America, and The Today Show. And I'm inviting you to join me every Monday from 3 to 4 for my new show, Mastermind Live. Join us as we introduce you to the new thought leaders of the world who will inspire you, support you, and guide you to your next level. So don't forget to tune into Mastermind Live exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bey back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bey Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bey Show, exclusively on latalklive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. or watch us and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
And welcome back to Here's to Your Health. My name is Dr. Hans Kugler. I'm a co-host with Here's to Your Health at LA Talk Live. Joshua Lane is on special assignment. And in the coming days and coming weeks, you will learn about that, and you will be totally surprised. Some magnificent things are happening. In the meantime, today, my next guest is Mr. Liam Cronin, for the ethical treatment of animals. How very nice to talk about that. I'm a total animal nut. I saved so many animals from out there. I had a very short time ago, I had a big fight in Redondo Beach on the beach.
Really?
Remember, we close to the beach with a big guy who kicked my dog.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. But anyway, that was funny. Anyway, so many years ago, back in Germany, we used to breed shepherds and dachshunds, right? Naturally not together. And for us kids, that was a magnificent example of interaction between animals and people, and it brings me back to what my dad always used to repeat. He says, if I had $1 or a mark at this time, for every time my dog made me smile, I'd be a mega millionaire, right? Yeah. And it is totally correct.
Sure,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, I live in Redondo Beach, have a house down there, and a friend of mine is in a cat project, right? I mean, they actually have a foundation. They get out and they catch animals that are running around wild, the cats, get them to the doctors, spay them, neuter them, and so on. And in my backyard, I have a little bit some space. Sometimes you need a space for these animals,
Definitely.
to be there for a couple of weeks while they're being treated and so on. And so the last time when this happened, they had 3 cats there, and they only found a home for 1 cat. And they said, okay, leave the other ones here, right? And I already had a dog. And then my girlfriend called me, and we are having a dog in our building, and we can't have it. They want to throw us out. Do you want a dachshund with papers, right? And I said, bring it over. Well, what I got was a dachshund body and a chihuahua head. What an intelligent little animal. Yeah. I mean, I can talk to this little thing, right? I mean, it's absolutely magnificent, right? In many areas, I was always involved with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, years ago in Redondo Beach, I walked towards the corner to rent a movie. And there was this young lady standing in the middle of the street, stopping the traffic. Why? Because there was some young animal, some dog that was running around in the traffic, and everybody stopped, and they finally caught the animal and gave it to her, and she took it along.
Yeah, people love animals. They'll do all kinds of things for them.
And I gave her my phone number and said, every time you want to have a free meal, join me at Good Stuff Restaurant in Redondo Beach, and she took me up on it,
Oh, nice.
This is very positive. Man, for many different ways, I find it just baffling how people can actually mistreat animals, right?
Well, yeah. Well, we
we mistreat animals actually a lot without even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And PETA's mission statement, the areas where we do our work, are for animals who are suffering the most for the longest periods of time. And those are animals that we use for food, animals we use for entertainment, like in circuses and at SeaWorld and such, animals used for experimentation, like for cosmetics or household products or medicine, and animals used for clothing, leather, wool, those kind of things. And then we also work with dogs, cats, and a little bit with wildlife. But our mission is to get people to realize how they can help animals every day, just by maybe leaving meat off their plate, or maybe not buying the leather, buying the synthetic leather, which looks exactly the same.
Totally. Why fur? I mean, it's the biggest nonsense ever.
Absolutely,
Right,
absolutely.
yeah.
When it's much cheaper to buy fake fur or just not at all. And so that's kind of our work. And we work. We've been an organization since 1980, and since then we've put a big impetus on public awareness and getting as much of the word out as we possibly can. And now through the dawn of the internet, we're able to do that on various different levels, online, billboard campaigns, celebrity campaigns, in the news. And then we also work kind of behind the scenes as well with governments to change their standards for animal testing, for example, to find alternate methods, with scientists, with boards, with review boards, all these different kinds of groups. And so we're working on several different fronts, and to get people, A, to realize how they can help animals in their daily lives and how easy it can be, and B, to help animals behind the scenes where they're being mistreated.
So what's the most basic message you want to bring across to people?
The best thing that people can do to help animals, the single best thing they can do, is to go vegan. And to some people that might say, I can't do that. But nowadays, and here in Los Angeles especially, it's never been easier to go vegan. And that just means leaving meat off your plate, leaving eggs, leaving milk out of your diet. And it's very, very easy to get all the nutrients you need. You see me, I'm 6'1", I'm 220, like I'm a big guy, and I've been vegan for years, and I'm doing okay. So, and if you go vegan, then you're saving over 100 animals a year, just by choosing not to eat them, and it's a powerful, powerful thing.
Well, I had a very similar experiment several years ago. I was professor of chemistry at Roosevelt University in Chicago. I was teaching the pre-meds and doing longevity studies with cancer-prone animals. But because I am such an animal nut, in a way, what many people call me, I don't feed animals something and then kill them off and see what happens to them.
Right.
I just let them live.
Right.
I feed them something and I say, see what the effect of maybe a vitamin or a nutrient or a mineral or something like that. But before that, I worked for Standard Oil of Indiana. And right after graduate school, after I did my postdoctoral research, and the basic idea is if the oil industry, agricultural industry, was concerned about what's happening to the environment and so on. And it was kind of amazing, right? In this process, I went to a national meeting, and a really important meeting, agriculture, growth rate of various different crops and so on. And I saw this very attractive lady, and I was just zooming in on her, and I was thinking what stupid thing I could say to get her attention. And she climbs up on the stage, and she's the next speaker. And what she was talking about is how we can accelerate the rate of growth of crops and shift the balance for more availability of good quality carbohydrates, fats, proteins, et cetera, on this basis. I talked to her a little bit later on, and all what she did was she radiated the plants with sound waves, like 3,000, 6,000, 8,000 cycles per second, and the plants would grow twice as fast, for example, as soy or something like this than regular. So when I went back to Standard Oil as a researcher, I activated greenhouses, and everybody came and visited that, and the head of research came and he looked at it. Then he called me into his office, and I thought, I'm going to get an award, right? And the first thing what he said, well, this is very interesting, but we have to find out there's a problem with one of our emulsifiers, and we need to isolate that, and we would like you to feed that to 30 beagles, and then the autopsies of the beagles will tell us what's going on. And I literally blew up. I mean, I said, do you know what this is? I mean, this is Frankenstein. This is, I mean, such science. This is ridiculous. You can very simple test in a laboratory with cell cultures where you can throw the effectiveness and so on. And I said a few impolite words.
Sure.
And I'm quitting, and I went back into teaching.
That's good. You know, and a lot of people don't realize they think when we say animal testing, they think it's necessary, but it's really not. The options are there where we don't have to torture animals in laboratories, and besides that, it's not very effective. Something like 9 out of 10 times when something passes animal trials, they fail in human trials because we're just not the same. The polio vaccine, for example, one of the most important of the 20th century, was delayed for years because they did experiments on monkeys, and they thought, well, this must translate to humans, and it didn't. And eventually they found it without using animals.
Right.
So
it's very similar to AIDS.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, years ago when we learned about AIDS, we thought, oh, this bad AIDS virus and so on and so on. And, you know, problems associated with certain groups of people and so on and so on. And then there was a Professor Peter Duisberg from Berkeley who totally disagreed with that.
Right.
Naturally, I was very proud of him because he is originally Max Planck Institute from Germany, and the German scientific community almost cried when he took a job in Berkeley, right?
Sure.
And did his research and actually demonstrated that the virus itself is actually just a carrier virus.
Right.
And in the meantime, they did thousands of animal studies, wasted those animals, killed those animals off, examined them with absolutely no sense at all.
Right.
And his most recent publication actually showed that the direct connection between people who are developing true AIDS, right? I mean, this is about 23 AIDS-defining diseases, right? And when people have a number of those, then they just call it AIDS, right? And it happens to be that they also have the virus. And what he demonstrated that in spite of about 147 different animal studies, the real connection between people who developed the real AIDS those were people who truly abused drugs. I mean, IV and the heavier drugs, not just smoking a little bit pot and whatever. This is just, you know, that's ridiculous. You know, but anyway, so many scientists have presented data along those lines, and still very few people listen.
You know, there's a quote in it that the history of trying to cure cancer has been the history of curing cancer in the mouse. Because it's had lots of success giving mice cancer and then curing it, right? But that obviously doesn't translate very well to humans. And that it holds totally true. We're not only wasting millions of animal lives and giving them just complete misery in the process, but also a lot of money and a lot of man hours that would be better spent elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. And anybody who has a question about this reason, I mean, your comment about cancer and so on here, right? Peter Duisberg from Berkeley, who I quoted previously, he was actually a discoverer of oncogenes. And he was one of the very first ones to raise doubt about chemotherapy. Again, chemotherapy demonstrated in animal experiments. What a nonsense, right? And he presented data, and it culminated in a big study that was published just about a couple of years ago, and the title of the study was, "Is Carcinogenesis a State of Speciation?" That means what he showed was when people have cancer and they get chemotherapy, it may kill 95% of the cancer cells, but the remaining cancer cells are changed by the chemotherapeutic agent to form totally independent new species of cancer. Right? And many years ago, what did we have? We have lung cancer from the smoking, and we have brain cancer, we have this and this, you know, a number of cancers. Do you know how many different types of cancers we now have? NIH has a collection of 57,000 different cancers.
Yikes.
Right.
Yes.
And that was a key point. And actually, getting people to realize what's going on. And the major thinking researchers are getting away from this. And we focus much more on enhancing immune functions, quality nutrition, right? Getting away from all that sugar, getting away from the synthetic sweeteners, and so on and so on. Anyway, give us a little bit more, some of your, where people can go, websites and so on.
Absolutely. Well, our main website is PETA.org, and there you can find, if you have any question about, what PETA thinks about this or that, which we get a lot of those kinds of questions, you can find all those answers there. You can also see our current campaigns going on right now. Lots of exciting stuff going on right now. And you can find info, all that, on PETA.org, and we also have our youth website, PETA2.com, and we actually have a large affiliate in Germany.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, they do a lot of great work there. They're a great group of guys, but yeah, but we have a lot of exciting stuff going on right now. I mean, everyone's talking about the Blackfish, the SeaWorld documentary, and we're fortunate that we can kind of use that to spread even more knowledge about what really goes on at SeaWorld and how those orcas have everything natural and important just taken away from them, living in tiny concrete tanks, incompatibly with other orcas, getting in fights, there's nowhere to go. And of course you have the problem of that they're giant animals and they're in these tiny tanks. They can't swim the 100 miles that they would normally, right? So that's been a big boon for the orcas at SeaWorld, because we've been able to show even more people. And if you haven't seen Blackfish, it's on Netflix. It's live streaming. Check it out. How the animals suffer in a really, really big way. We're actually at the Rose Parade. This is good for LA. We were just at the Rose Parade on the 1st, and we were part of the contingent.
I almost rode in a Rose Parade.
This year?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I belong to the Long Beach Mounted Police. It's a reserve group of the Long Beach Police Department, right? And the horse unit, Long Beach Mounted Police, always has a big group, riding in the parade, right? But what's really important when we're going to the Rose Parade in there is to drive the trucks there. I mean, you have a truck with a 4-horse trailer behind it and the limited space that they have. Yeah. I mean, people get so distressed on it. So very often, I am the one who drives the trucks. Anyway, so yeah, it's many different ways to bring attention to this problem.
Absolutely. So we're fortunate that that's an Oscar contending documentary. We're fortunate in that way. But we also do undercover work. And our big undercover piece on our website now is an Angora fur undercover investigation. And you'll usually find Angora in sweaters, sometimes blankets or socks, things like that. It's just and these are rabbits, Angora rabbits. They're big, white, fluffy rabbits. I'm sure you'd recognize them if you saw them. And the way that they extract this fur is really extremely brutal. And we're able to document that in Chinese farms where the vast majority of Angora wool comes from. Right. And we see how workers rip the fur out of these rabbits, and the rabbits, they scream, and people are able to see the pain happening in these animals, and they can't block it off, as we often do. We will say, well, the animal probably had a good life, but here, and that's the benefit of undercover video, and that's why it's been so successful, is because people can see the animals suffering, and they translate that to either it's the Angora wool in my sweater that I'm not going to buy. And we've seen H&M dropped Angora wool. Lots of huge retailers are dropping it entirely because they've seen this video. And
it's totally unnecessary.
Absolutely. There's so many synthetic materials. Why would you put an animal through that life? And again, they would pluck them again and again and again, like separated by 3 months. And then they would go to slaughter. And what an awful, awful life. And people were able to see that and take action, and it's had huge dividends across the world. Huge dividends.
Well, as a matter of fact, a lot of this actually crosses into the area of anti-aging. When you follow up and approach to anti-aging, which I do at a health center, right? Health Integration Center in Torrance, 310-634-2478. Whatever. And I take people through the foundation, which is looking at all the different health practices. And the next step up is actually hormone replacement, right? And when you go hormone replacement, for example, for a woman going past the menopause, oh, doc, I'm not feeling great on this and that, well, maybe we should give you some estrogens. Well, where do the estrogens come from? Horses.
Right.
They keep hundreds and thousands of horses pregnant.
and they extract from the urine. They just stand there. They don't even move. Keep them pregnant their entire lives. They collect the urine. They isolate from the urine the estrogens. And the name already says is Premarin.
Right.
Pregnant mare urine.
Right.
So any women out there who is taking this crap, come to the American Academy Anti-Aging Medicine meeting, A4M, worldhealth.net, and look at what real hormone replacement is all about, right? And we can do all this with synthetic hormones. We have to look at more than just estrogens. More and more women are taking actually testosterone and so on. It is a totally different approach. It goes into every area. I mean, these are our best buddies that we have there.
Right,
know?
absolutely.
I mean, my little character that I have there, I mean, it's a space alien, right? I mean, it's a female, like many females in my life, come from different planets, but it definitely makes you smile, and I mean, it's a total delight,
Definitely. I mean, and it's funny you mentioned anti-aging, because I just popped up this really great new thing we have on our website, and it's with bodybuilder Jim Morris, and he's a 78-year-old bodybuilder, totally vegan, and you got to go see his video on our site, because he looks way better than I do. I'm 25. He looks way better than I do. And he's a vegan bodybuilder. He's been doing it for years and years. He broke the color barrier in bodybuilding, and now he's breaking the diet barrier, I guess you'd call it. I'm not sure what you call it, but he looks amazing. You can't believe that he's that old. But that's another way to kind of keep yourself looking young, is to...
Well, it's actually, for human nutrition bodybuilding, it's relatively simple. See, we have in animals, the proteins has a certain composition of the amino acids, right? And if you go to an area where you have, plant origin protein, the composition is a little bit different. And if you learn like what you have to change or what you should change and take a little bit more of this or that, you can totally balance it. There's no question about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I get everything I need. I mean, you can get every nutrient that your body needs in a vegan diet, and people question B12, things like that. B12 is abundant in fortified foods and supplements. A lot of people who eat meat should take B12 supplements. So you get plenty of protein, you get plenty of all that stuff, and it's never been easier. Grocery stores, restaurants across the country, you can find those options.
Even though this is a very important point, and I mean, you definitely have a point there. Yeah. I would think really, if we could really do something about anything from, for example, in the wild in Africa, the killing of the animals for their tusks, right?
Right.
And I mean, along those lines, teach people the importance of, of those animals in our society as a big part. And, that would be, I think, a much more important starting point. I mean, as I would say it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it all starts at just fostering empathy, right? And fostering empathy for the world around you, and acknowledging that elephant, that rhino, that cow, that pig, they all value their lives just as much as I do. They don't want to die. They want to do what they want to do in the same way I do. And what they want to do is profoundly different from what I want to do. Yeah. We're not asking that the animals get the right to vote, but we're asking that they get the right to live their lives and not to be hunted down, not to be enslaved in like the dairy industry, for example, which the conditions are very similar to what you were describing with those horses, constantly impregnated, unable to move, and then eventually slaughtered. And it all starts with empathy. If we can teach ourselves
no question about
to
it.
care about others.
And I mean, through thousands of years literally in the healthcare field, you can see how there's a symbiosis between the animals and humans.
Right.
There's an area called velvet deer antler, right? Now, velvet deer antler extract is becoming very important in all kind of aspects of health, replacing growth hormones and so on. But see, the antlers fall off once a year, and all what to do is people just collect them, right? And nobody has to cut anything or kill animals and so on. If you follow a common sense approach, we can achieve balance and homeostasis and smiles.
Definitely. And it's not only good for the animals, right? It's good for us too. I mean, we were talking about health earlier, but it's also good for a growing population, right?
Yeah.
Because those animals on these sprawling factory farms, or it's thousands and thousands of animals, they have to be fed somehow. And so we have the fields that are growing the crops to feed them, and then they have the feedlots for them, they have the slaughterhouses for them, they have all the transport between those places. That's a lot of waste. And in fact, land for growing grain and soy and such to feed to cattle is one of the leading causes of deforestation in the world, because it takes a lot of land to do these things. And if we were just, instead of giving the grain to them and then eating the flesh, which the ratio is very, very low,
I agree.
just to eat the grain ourselves, that would cause that would solve a lot of our problems with our food shortages.
And besides, the cattle industry is very much associated with an increase in methane.
Definitely.
Right? Methane is basically a gas, natural gas, and in many different other areas, they're trying to tell us that this is a clean fuel and we need to do this, and we need to do fracking in California, right? I mean, where they go deep into the ground, they inject chemicals to get this stuff out of the ground. Well, listen, bottom line, fracking from an environmental point of view is much worse than coal.
Right.
Because methane itself has been looked at as a negative factor in climate change, right? And it was believed to be about 22 times as strong as CO2 in affecting climate change.
Right.
Well, I think it was Berkeley University where they recently looked at Professor Kirk Smith, Nobel laureate, and they reevaluated and found that methane is actually 72 times as risky for that.
Yikes.
Right?
What better reason to go vegan?
Exactly. I mean, look at common sense things, But anyway, we've come to the end of this interview. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much for
And
having
we're going to take a break. And thank you for listening to Here's to Your Health. And we will be back in a few minutes. And you will hear more about health, eye health, how to stay healthy from every different aspect. Thank you very much for having you here.
Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Sequoia Neff,
And this is Jay Rios.
And I'm Sherrod Moore.
inviting you to join us every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Battle of the Sexes as we discuss his and her views on topics no one wants to touch.
Where we keep it 100% real.
And interesting.
And it is pure comedy.
So don't forget to tune in to Battle of the Sexes Mondays at 7 p.m.
Exclusively on LATalkLive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio.
Or watch and listen directly at LATalkLive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure.
This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on LATalkLive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
And welcome back to Here's to Your Health. My name is Dr. Hans Kugler, PhD, former professor of chemistry at Roosevelt University in Chicago, very much involved with anti-aging, and that also is a very important part in being able to see correctly. Joshua Lane is on special assignment, and you will probably hear next week about a lot of very interesting things that are going on. And in the meantime, we have Esther Joy van der Werf, who will tell us a little bit about eye health, how to keep your eyes healthy, how to see better at any age and maybe even without glasses. And I actually can confirm what you're saying, even without having read of your books yet. I am naturally very much into health, anti-aging, and eyesight is an important part with it. But from a more down-to-earth aspect, I also fly airplanes. And when you do your medical for aviation, the very first thing is what they examine your eyes.
Exactly.
And at our health center, the Health Integration Center in Torrance, with Dr. David Wong, we had a doctor involved with the FAA in training people and showing them how they could actually exercise their eyes to see better, and literally within a few weeks. And I followed that's true. I mean, you will probably have your own approach to this one, yes. But I followed this through very simple eye exercises, right? One eye, the other eye, both eyes, eye coordination and eye exercises. And on the eye chart, within 3 weeks, I could see about 1.5 lines better than before.
Yes. Yes.
Well, anyway, so welcome to our show here.
Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
I teach the Bates method, which is a natural way of improving eyesight. And it's something that I needed for myself. My own eyesight was nearsighted when I was a teenager in college. Found that distance vision wasn't as good as it used to be. Got taken to an eye doctor, was given glasses. I hated my glasses. So pretty soon I lost them and made sure they weren't found. And found it easier to live in my blurry world than to wear the glasses, because the glasses were so difficult for me to deal with. So for the rest of that time I became interested slowly in, was there anything I could do for my eyes that didn't involve glasses? Because I knew the glasses was the last thing I wanted. So I read an article in a newspaper about the Bates method and bought a book about it and started doing those eye exercises you're mentioning. And for me, they didn't work very well. They were somewhat boring. I didn't have the discipline to stick with them for very long. And so I quit and decided that didn't work for me. And years later, I came across another book about the Bates method. And this book said it wasn't about eye exercises, but more about how to relax your eyes all day long. And once I read that book and understood it and applied those methods, and not so much the forcing my eyes into all sorts of exercises, but allowing them to release their strain that they'd had for so many years, and allowing that relaxation to come back in, then it was easy. Then within 2 weeks, I was back to 20/20 vision after 16 years of blurry vision. So I realized that it is definitely possible to improve your eyesight, but there is a better way than eye exercises. Eye exercises work to some extent, but they're often done with more strain than necessary. And when they're done with strain, they can actually not work at all or even cause worse
Actually,
vision.
the type of exercise I used to do emphasize relaxing your eyes.
Good. Those are the good ones.
Just sit back and relax. I mean, don't push, don't force anything, right?
Exactly.
But within that, we would follow your field of vision, utilize the entire field of vision.
Absolutely.
Explore it, and, as I said, it worked.
And that's what Dr. Bates did too. He very much emphasized the whole peripheral vision. Be open to all of it. Even though not all of it is clearly seen, the very peripheral of our vision is never clear, not like our central point of clarity. And the term for that is central fixation. And Bates used that a lot. He even called his publishing company the Central Fixation Publishing Company. So it was a term he was very familiar with. But for most of us, it's central fixation. Never heard of it, right? But what it means is to have your entire field of vision open, be aware of everything around you, being also aware that it's not all clear, where the point of interest is where your clarity is. But that point of interest does not stay clear if you stare. If you stare at something and hold your eyes still, then that one point that is available to us as a clear point becomes blurry. So in order to keep clear vision, the eyes need to be moving all the time. And that movement, now here's the difference between the Bates method and the eye exercise method. The eye exercise method is more forcing the eyes to move, or luckily if you find a way of doing eye exercises and do it without the strain, then that's fine. The Bates method is very much about letting the eyes move by letting them follow your attention. Wherever your attention goes, that's where your eyes very quickly move to without any effort.
See, that's what got me into trouble with my girlfriend. You know, she wanted me to stare at her, and if I let my eyes go, she used to slap me.
That's the girlfriend you need to ditch. You need one that's more relaxed. What you want is the eyes to follow your attention. The attention are always much quicker to move than the eyes. So as your attention moves and your eyes follow, then you'll find that at certain angles, your head wants to follow the eyes. Because the eyes, if they do some movement on their own, that becomes uncomfortable. They want the head to follow with certain motion. So if you get that order of motion, the attention first, the eyes follow, and then the head follows as needed, then you get a natural motion happening. And that's way more relaxing for the eyes than any other way, than staring, than exercises, any forcing of motion.
You know, you must have been teaching my instructors in aviation. When I was in the Air Force, you know, going towards jet training, and the basic idea was always, no, don't just stare ahead of time and let your eyes go. Look at the entire field, what's going on, and move your head in this direction, and don't be shy to do that, and so on and so on. And it worked.
Yes, it's your interest that keeps the eyes active and alive and moving, and the more movement they get, the more circulation they get, the happier they are.
Yeah. So, well, if people are interested in then, what would they do? How can they reach you, or what should they read, or do you have a book out?
I have 2 books out at the moment. They're in front of me here. One is Read Without Glasses at Any Age. That's my most recent book that I wrote for the people that are dealing with presbyopia. If you find that as you're getting older that text gets blurry and you have to hold it further and further out, then at some point the arms become too short, and then people give up and say, okay, I must have glasses now. Well, this book will keep you out of the glasses and help you get that clarity back, because it's not a lack of glasses that is the problem. What your problem is a lack of having attention up close and using your eyes up close in a relaxed way. So this new book teaches that. The other book is from a few years ago. It's basically the Bates methods, the best writing of Dr. Bates himself, combined into one book, put into a logical order, sorted by topic. So anybody new to the method can learn from this book, from Dr. Bates's own words, what to do to help your eyes get more relaxed.
Okay, well, what are the publishing houses for the books?
They're my own.
They're your own?
Yes, Visions of Joy. Visions of Joy is my company, my school, and visionsofjoy.org is my website. Although this book, the Read Without Glasses
book. So again,
book,
give us the website, or let's say if people are interested, what would they do? Where do they go to get the book?
So this one is on readwithoutglasses.com, and they're actually both on my own website, visionsofjoy.org.
So www.visionsofjoy, nothing in between, no dots, no one word.
All one word, visionsofjoy.org.
And the other one was readwithoutglasses.com.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
good. More and more people are doing this. I actually did it with my last book, right?
Excellent.
I have I used to be with regular publishing houses. I published 7 books on my own, all relating to aging. Right, nice. And counteracting, anti-aging, what we can do about it, preferentially no drugs and so on involved.
Exactly.
And the offers that I got, well, I was away from this because I talked about this previously here. I had an extreme car accident which turned out to damage my heart, and it took several years, but we totally reversed it with alternative approaches.
Nice.
I mean, no drugs, and so, and so my next book then, which was Lifelong Health, Learn How to Control Your Genes to Stay Young with Age. We put it out as an ebook, right?
Yes.
And
these are both available as ebooks too.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can go to Amazon or
Yes, they're on Amazon, both of them.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Not Barnes and Noble, but they can order it through Amazon. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can go to any bookshop and ask for these books, and they'll be able to order it for you.
Okay.
Yeah. But kind of like you just said, that in order to have a long, healthy life, you need to kind of avoid the drugs, because that's the main indicator of a long, healthy life is no drugs. Well, for your eyes.
Well, good that you said that. We've
similar.
been saying this for years and years. Like
for eyesight, it's similar because your eyes, they need to be free from the glasses in order for them to be healthy. Once you start with glasses,
I
they
know you
deteriorate.
limit them. You force them into a certain range of vision.
Yes.
Right.
So, and they become more strain on your eyes. And the glasses hold your vision in that prescription, but they also create more strain and therefore cause worse vision down the road. And so the more you can avoid them right from the beginning, the better it is. And Dr. Bates always said that, if you become nearsighted, if you have a little bit of myopia, the thing to do is not to get glasses. The thing to do is learn to release the strain that created the myopia. And if you do that right at the beginning, it is so easy to do. It's really easy to do. I find that with a lot of people. If I catch them right at the beginning, I had a 10-year-old girl a few months ago who, during the summer vacation, found her vision had become blurry and one eye had moved out. Instead of straight, it was moving out. And of course, they came back from vacation. The parents took her to an eye doctor. And thankfully, this was an eye doctor who said, well, you know what? The blurry vision isn't yet bad enough for glasses. And as far as the eye turning out, well, we'll have to wait for that to stabilize before we can do anything. And then probably what they would do is surgery. But that doctor remarked, what she really needs is relaxation. So the mother was all ears and said, well, what do you mean, relaxation? How do I teach her? And the doctor had said, well, it kind of has to come from within herself, and didn't elaborate from that point. So the mother went home, went on Google and researched eyesight and relaxation, and found my website and my books. Bought one of the books, started helping her daughter with palming and relaxing her eyes, and the blurry vision disappeared very quickly.
Do you do individual counseling with people?
Yes,
or?
I do.
Yeah, and
Yes.
where?
At my home in Ojai, California, but also in Europe. I travel to Europe once a year,
Right.
and this happened to be in the Netherlands a few months ago. So this,
A suburb of Germany.
so they once thought, but we told them not.
I just had to throw this in. Actually, when
We're
we
neighbors.
when we go back into history, you should have heard my dad. He was such a disagreeer with the Adolf system. They locked him up. They sent him to Russia to defend the fatherland. Afterwards, we were in East Germany. Oh, that was another big disagreement. He was in jail twice.
Oh boy!
So,
but to get back to this little girl, I just want to finish that story. She, the mother decided to bring her to me because she had been able to help the girl see clearly again, but the girl had double vision because one eye moved out. And because one eye moved out, it's just not comfortable. It's tiring. It's annoying. And so they made an appointment. I happened to be in the Netherlands that week, and they came to see me. And I helped the girl within an hour. I managed to get her to see straight again. And a month later, I heard from the mother that it's still straight.
So what did you do in order to get her to do that?
Well, the first thing I did was what Dr. Bates always recommended. If you have somebody with strabismus, which is the condition of one eye not pointing in the same direction, the first thing you do is have them look at something. They'll see two of the one thing. For example, a pen or a finger. They'll see two, and there'll be a gap between those two things.
Yeah.
The first thing you do is ask them to make that gap bigger, which really is asking them to strain more. And as they make the gap bigger and the eyes divert more, then you then ask them, say, okay, now just relax, let that go again. And as they relax, it comes back together.
And the often you do this, the closer it comes back together.
Not necessarily, but they learn some control. They learn that strain creates the distance between the two, and that relaxation brings the two images back together. And then through extra relaxation, in this case with the girl, I did a palming session, had her close her eyes, cover them with her hands, help her release that tension in that left muscle that was pulling the eye out. And after that, the eye was relaxed, and it says, okay, now you can open your eyes again, but only for a moment. Not long enough to try and see, not long enough to strain. So she did that. It's called flashing. And as she flashed her eyes open for a moment, she says, oh yeah, I see everything single when I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, very good. Now, allow your eyes to be open a little bit longer, but as soon as it becomes double again, just close your eyes. So she opens her eyes and blinks and looks around and keeps looking. And I'm nervous. I'm saying, don't forget to close your eyes if it goes double. And she just keeps them open and keeps looking. And then she says, no, it's single. It stays single. It never went back to double, except if she's tired, it will go back to double a little bit. But she closes her eyes, rests them. The eyes come right back together. So even something like that, which conventional doctors will say requires surgery, if you just learn to relax the muscle that's tight, you can avoid that. And I've seen that on numerous occasions. It's really easy to relax the muscles of the eyes once you know how. And if you know how, you can avoid the glasses, you can avoid the surgeries, and keep your eyes healthy for the rest of your life.
Okay,
how beautiful is that?
Now, people are listening in, and now they're getting interested.
Mm-hmm.
What would be, let's say, the most basic thing they could practice to actually show them that this something will work? What could you tell them? I'd say, start with this.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Well, I would always start with palming, because palming is the most restful thing to your eyes. And actually, I recently got a question. Somebody said, well, how about sleep? Isn't sleep somewhere where we rest our eyes? And you know what? For some people it is, and for some it's not. For some people, if you find that after you've slept all night and you've been well rested, you wake up in the morning, you see better, but then during the day you get back into your habitual tension and you lose that clarity during the day, then during sleep you regain that. So those people, they rest their eyes during sleep. A lot of them, however, don't. They take the tension that they have during the day and go to sleep with that and keep the tension in their eyes while they're dreaming, while they're sleeping. They wake up with either the same or worse vision the next morning. So in order for these people to really find a way to relax their eyes is to consciously relax them by closing them, cover them with the palms of your hands, and while you're doing that, check with every part of the visual system. Begin with your eyelids. How tense are they? Can you release those? Begin with the eyes themselves. Imagine that they're full of light.
While you have your eyes covered?
While you have your eyes covered and closed. Yes. So you go through all the visual system. You go through the eye muscles. You imagine that you can feel them. You imagine releasing them. Imagine your eyes just floating rather than any forced motion. Then go through the face muscles, your forehead, your eyebrows, the temples, the cheeks, especially the top of the cheeks. We tend to carry a lot of tension there. So you go through the whole system, release all these things. Then you go through the mind and allow yourself to imagine that you already have clear vision. Some people can remember having clear vision, maybe as a child, and they go back to those years and they say, oh yeah, when I was 5, 6, I had no problem. When I was 12, I still saw clearly. It was later in my college years. So they go back to the time when they had clear vision. Or they remember something that they do see clearly. Dr. Bates called that a foundation object.
Well, I can see clearly now, da-da-da-da, right?
If you have a song like that in your mind and you can remember that clearly, that relaxes you. And as you relax deeper, the eye muscles let go. So it's a great way of releasing that strain and coming back to relaxed sight and better vision. That's one of the things I often do.
Yeah. Anyway, well, give us the websites again, the title of the books.
Okay, it's visionsofjoy.org is my website. Both the books are available there. They're also available on Amazon. And this one has its own little website now called readwithoutglasses.com. And they're also both on Facebook. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter and all that sort of thing.
Sounds really magnificent.
And my website has a newsletter you can sign up for. So there's lots of ways of following what I do.
Yeah. No, this is absolutely magnificent. I mean, it confirms many different areas what we are actually doing within aging research, right? I mean, it is a field that is evolving in different, I mean, in literally every aspect.
Yes.
I mean, I look at I have a system where I sort of scan the literature in respect to anti-aging and a number of colleagues that work in the same field. And naturally, I mean, eyes and vision is one of the very important areas, right? I mean, that's not only I mean, for me especially, because I fly airplanes, right? And you want to see that.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's not really good when you fly with somebody, which I did once, and your co-pilot says, okay, this transport airplane over at 11 o'clock, and I look at there and I can't see the damn thing, right?
Oops.
That kind of bugged me. It gets you nervous, right?
Yes.
And so on. And,
Yeah.
so-
It's nice to have good eyesight and to keep it the rest of your life. What a blessing. So
Yeah.
I love teaching people and watch them go back through the stages from their blurry vision to being able to do less things, more things without glasses, less things with glasses, take the glasses off far more often, find that they can do more than they thought without glasses, and then slowly improve their vision step by step and find that, you know what, I can do everything without glasses. I can see clearly again.
With all these problems relative to age, different stages of ages, do you have any observations there? Like, I mean, at what ages it's the worst or the best, or when real problems come in?
Obviously, the younger somebody is, the easier and quicker they can get back to clear vision because their strain hasn't been there very long. But that doesn't mean that somebody that's in their 70s, 80s, or 90s can't do it. It might take a little longer, but it's certainly possible. I think anybody can get back to clear vision. The challenge is when the eye diseases come in, but there very much it's nutrition. The glaucoma, the macular degeneration kind of things. And I just yesterday, got a phone call from a friend who said there was a lady she knew that had macular degeneration. Went to her doctor just recently, and the doctor said, "Oh, it's gone. What have you done differently? Have you changed your diet?" And the lady actually had to think about it for a moment. She says, "Actually, I now include kale and spinach in my diet." Well, those happen to be the best foods for your eyes. Dark green leafy vegetables. So you know, if she includes kale and spinach in her diet, her eyes are now getting the nutrition they need. They can heal themselves. So it doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter what your eye problem is. Anything can heal. But you need the right nutrients. You need the right ways of relaxing the eyes. And
Interesting enough that you bring this up. There was a publication just a few weeks actually comes out of Dresden University in Germany, where they looked at older people, and the excuse is always, oh, I'm too old to do exercise, I'm too old to this, I'm too old to that. And what they actually presented in this paper, that to rebuild and keep muscle mass very well functioning is possibly beyond age 80 and even older.
you can build, you can build muscle at any age. And
Right.
for your eyes, one of the ways of building muscles is get outside in the sunlight, because sunlight reduces our pupil size.
Exactly.
And that's a muscle. So the more you're out in the sunlight, the more you look in the distance, the healthier your eyes are. So it's a very important part of improving your eyes. Be comfortable in sun, avoid the sunglasses. There's a big scare going on about that sunlight is so harmful to your eyes. It's
No,
not,
it isn't.
It's actually not true.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
not true at all. But it ends up with lots of people buying sunglasses. And that creates more sensitivity for the eyes, more light sensitivity, and therefore the request for darker sunglasses. And that's going the opposite from what your eyes really need. What they need is more sunlight and less of the glasses and just way more outdoor time.
Yeah.
They'll be much healthier.
I can totally confirm that. I mean, a few weeks ago, I was flying with a different type of airplane, right? And I always wanted to fly that airplane. And I went up with a young flight instructor. He was about 28 or something like this, and heavy sunglasses on there. And he said to me, well, you should really wear sunglasses. You protect your eyes. I said, what's your prescription for your eyes? And he reads it off to me. I said, I don't have any. Right? And I didn't wear any sunglasses. I didn't wear any glasses at all, right?
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes I used to wear some glasses for reading, and more just practicing. I don't do it anymore. I mean, I can read without the glasses.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
There's-
Recently, I did a book signing for this new book, and somebody walked by, and it was an older gentleman, and I asked, how are your eyes? Just, to get his attention. He says, mine are great. And I says, oh, wonderful. What do you think? Because this looked like a man in his late 60s, maybe 70s. What do you think you did to keep your eyes healthy? He says, I don't know. I always ski and I go surfing, and he says, I'm always out in the sun, so I don't know how I kept them healthy.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, that's exactly how you kept them healthy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was interesting that he didn't think the sun was good for his eyes, when obviously he kept his good eyesight because he was out so much.
taught this.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in school, the very first thing was they gave me glasses. Oh, I hated these things,
yeah,
right?
I did too.
And I lost them, probably the same as you.
On purpose.
I hid them everywhere else,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And then my dad says, well, we have to pay again for those glasses. I said, well, let me try a little bit, whatever. And then I found my glasses, right, to make him happy, right?
Yes.
And I wore them for a little bit. And
then lost them again?
I lost them again. And as through the ages, I at age 12, I actually started flying glider airplanes, and to get permission, you've got to go to a doctor over there who examines you, and naturally, focusing on the eyes is very important, right? And so I learned a little bit about this. Thank God I sort of fell into the hands of a more like osteopath, who is not really into eyeglasses and drugs and this and that. And I was lucky with that. Right? I was so fascinated about flying airplanes and what I see up there, which is totally different what you see down here, right? And I got my my license, and I fly twin-engine airplane, and I flew with jets in the military, and
it's one way of keeping your eyes healthy, being out there in the sun a lot.
Yeah.
And you're always looking into the long distance. Excellent for your eyes. Yeah. Very relaxing.
Very good. Well, a magnificent interview.
Thank you.
And readers out there, you have the websites and everything else.
Visionsofjoy.org.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Visionsofjoy.org. And we will follow up with many different areas of anti-aging, and that was one of them. Very fascinating. And we'll take a little break.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to Here's to Your Health. And we are definitely much more than just talk. My name is Dr. Hans Kugler. I'm a co-host here. Joshua Lane is on assignment for follow-up on something very special. We'll learn about that next week. And we'll be back.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hello world, how you living? This is D. Brex, your host of the all-new rap project here on LA Talk Live. That's latalklive.com. Or you can find me on iTunes Radio in the R&B section. That's the Rap Project, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. West Coast time, so don't be late. On the Rap Project, I will be playing the very best of rap and hip-hop that goes beyond the ordinary. So connect with me, your host, D. Brax, the rap connoisseur, on the Rap Project every Wednesday at 7 right here on latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dawn Christie inviting you to join me every Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, for my all-new show, The Dawn Christie Show. Join me as I discuss love, spiritual readings, your purpose. Why am I born? What am I here to do? So don't forget to tune in The Dawn Christie Show at 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
This is Brett Chapin.
And this is Dorothy Dillingham Blue, inviting you to join us every Saturday at noon Pacific Standard Time for our show, La La Land Talk.
Join us as we talk with some of the top talent in LA. Artists' untold stories, your phone calls, and live on-location broadcasts have made La La Land one of the best sources in LA for everything entertainment.
So don't forget to tune in to La La Land Talk.
Exclusively on latalklive.com.
You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com.
Saturdays at noon Pacific Time. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/LaLaLandTalk, Twitter, twitter.com/LaLaLandTalk. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live.
And we are more than just talk.
And welcome back to Here's to Your Health. My name is Dr. Hans Kugler, co-host with the show. Josh Lane is on assignment to cover some very special interested area in respect to overall health and anti-aging. And we will talk about that next week, most likely. And in the meantime, actually I discussed this with Josh for some time. In December, there was the biggest anti-aging medicine meeting in Las Vegas, held by the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, supported by about several thousand health professionals, covering every aspect of anti-aging, literally from the ground up. We touched on a number of areas, very interesting. During one of those meetings, if you've never been to one, maybe consider going to one of them. Take a look at first at www.worldhealth.net. At worldhealth.net, which is the website of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, you will find a very, very magnificent survey of the different areas that relate to aging. And when you're there, look for the red ball. Well, what the heck is this? A red bouncing red ball at a medical website? It's very simple. A4M is probably the largest leading anti-aging medical organization, and their staff has a special project, and that is keep their doctors up to par about what is being discovered in anti-aging. Not only anti-aging, achieving optimum health, defining optimum health, new treatments. There are sections where doctors have to go through 3-day of sitting in a classroom and listening to being confirmed as experts in, for example, new cancer treatments, in heart disease, in hormone therapy, and one of the most recent areas is actually really an emphasis on achieving real good fitness. Let me tell you a little bit of story. Years ago, I attended a meeting, and I was one of the speakers talking about how to achieve best possible health. And one of my mentors, Professor Taraskin, who defined lifelong health as a state of homeostasis, achieved by doing so and so many different health practices correctly.
And previously, when we talked about health practice, we also had the priorities. Well, there was nutrition, and then there was exercise, and there was stress management, and that was about it. Well, these priorities had changed quite a bit. As a matter of fact, as we look at it right now, it is exercise, 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 and an emphasis on resistance exercise, muscle exercises. And guess what? Not only for men, but also for women. And more women are literally strutting out there, showing off their physique and their capacity that they can compete with men in areas where you use muscles. And God, these bodies are shaping up. It is a total delight. Well, before that, I said I was at one of the meetings, and I talked about the various different health practices, and I mentioned to a number of older, there was doctors and fitness experts, and I said, well, you guys are not having enough muscle. And somebody interrupted me. They said, Hans, you know after the age of 40, you can't rebuild muscle mass. And that was kind of shocking to me. I mean, that was a general feeling among some of the experts. And I took up the challenge, and I said, well, I have been too much focusing on science and writing my books and always wanted to get back into fitness. So why don't I do it? We did a body analysis on the same day. And the best way to do a body analysis was actually underwater weighing. That means you put on a swimsuit, you sit on a comfortable sort of like it looks like a little chair, and they lower you down into the water, and they measure your body weight in the water while you're totally submerged and out of the water. And that is the best way to measure body fat in your body. And naturally, following up is the other tissues, muscle, bone, and so on and so on. And this is about the same. Within 4 weeks, following a different approach in rebuilding muscle, emphasizing not only exercise but quality nutrition, and in about, well, I would say it was about 8 weeks, I put on 12 pounds of muscle mass. Everybody was totally baffled. Well, following up on these results, I did a literature search. Well, this is what we scientists do. When we don't know really what's happening or we have a big question, we go to the science websites, like, for example, for the National Institute of Health, NIH, and we look at, some of the key parameters that we can put in, and we evaluate what can be done and what's being argued about. And we found out that there were a number of different variables that contributed to that. And later on, I actually, there's a humming in the headset here. Let me give yes, okay, it was gone here. It was probably just my stomach because I was getting hungry. Anyway, so later on, in following up on some of these essential requirements, actually included that in one of my books. Several people around the world responded to it. I was involved, and I was actually one of the very first U.S. scientists, even so I consider myself a German scientist because I'm from Germany originally, and my basic schooling was at the University of Munich at the School of Medicine under Nobel laureate Butenandt. But I was asked to speak at first in India, then in Germany, in the West Indies, and on following up on that, I will also be speaking next month again at the National Mexican Anti-Aging Medicine Meeting, the big meeting, annual meeting in Mexico City. And the emphasis was not only on the good health practices, but basically on how to do things correctly. How can there be a difference? Well, you wouldn't believe it, how many people that I see in the South Bay area. Right? I mentioned I do health practice counseling, anti-aging counseling at the Health Integration Center in Torrance. Dr. David Wong, the MD, is the head of our center. And several associates focus on optimum health anti-aging from different aspects. And when we get together, we sort of take a little bit a survey of what is important, or really what concerns a lot of people. And guess what? It wasn't only with me, it was with other health professionals in there. They were complaining that, no, they were not complaining, their patients were complaining. Basically telling me, he says, Hans, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing exercise, as you say, and I'm doing nutrition, and I follow up on stress management. And I feel so miserable. I feel so down. Work harder. Get us to a real point where all this becomes effective. Well, so we decided 5 different doctors from different areas. And that's not only fitness. I mean, that's in respect to area of prevention. That's a very important area. And we looked at the many mistakes that people were making. We actually analyzed in detail what people were doing that thought in the first place to do everything correctly. And then we found out what they were doing not really so correctly. And there are some very, very basic areas that we can touch on. Starting with an evaluation, and you probably wouldn't believe that what we're doing. We actually ask people to, with about 20 question questionnaire, to calculate their what we call a gene expression age. The gene expression age is correlated to the key factors that contribute to overall aging, positive and negative, and assign a point value for any one of the specific areas. And that goes from the basics, exercise. There's about 8 different variables, how to do the exercise correctly. Then nutrition, there's macronutrition and micronutrition, there's carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and vegetable oils, and vitamins, and minerals, and special supplements, right? And then there is stress management. Remember that they asked the general, don't you get ulcers with your job, with a stressful job? And the general responded, I don't get ulcers, I give ulcers. And that's really the way we work when we are sort of relaxed into this whole field. We know what we're doing. We may be disagreeing with lots of what orthodox medicine doing with the drug approach, but we know it works. And another area is very much environmental factors, right? Most recently, the evaluation of macronutrients that are available in foods in the U.S. made it clear that we were actually getting a very large percentage of genetically modified foods. And that genetically modified foods, in an analysis of what's happening in your body, can be extremely negative. It actually affects genetic pathways in your body. And that's why it gets a little bit complicated. But, I mean, just sit back and relax a little bit and just listen to what I'm saying here. I just wanted to show you that it's not as easy as putting some food in here and triggering something in your body that will actually make things work perfectly. Example. You're out there among a lot of people and everybody is sneezing and coughing. And that is right now, apparently this is a strange virus that people are catching up and they're saying, wow, I feel miserable. It only takes a couple of days and then they're back to normal. But what happens in your body, when your body recognizes that something is being stressed, That is in respect to immune functions. Your body basically says, activate immune functions, rev up your immune system. And the way it does that is relatively complicated at first glance, but to the scientist, it's relatively simple. Like, immune system is supposed to trigger. It releases a messenger chemicals that goes to the cells in your body that produce immune responses. And when it comes to the surface of a cell from the outside, it is too big, actually, that mesochemical to go inside the cell to go to the nucleus and trigger things. And on the surface of the cell, there are receptors, and they're known as lock and key receptors. That means a chemical that arrives has a certain shape. If it fits the shape of a receptor, then it will trigger a reaction inside the cell. And that chemical inside the cell will go to the nucleus. That means the DNA that contains all the information about your body and how to function normally. It will trigger the copying of a certain segment that has to do with immune functions. That will go inside the cell. The general area is called the cytoplasm, and there are workbenches, right? They're called rRNA. And on this workbench, the peptides are put together that are actually forming the chemical that triggers the immune function, the immune reactions. And there are transfer RNAs, different types of RNAs. Each one of them brings along a different amino acid, and with the information copied at the nucleus, this is the how-to on the workbench, the practical aspect, the amino acids put together, and suddenly your immune system gets a boost. It responds, it looks for that virus, and it destroys the virus or deactivates it, and everything is rolling along very nicely. Well, in following up on that, we can translate to that what is happening in our body and how things work on a step-by-step basis. Actually, there are some people arriving here at our office, and they don't really have anything to do with the next guest here. Okay, fine, I was being told. Anyway, so looking at the many different mistakes people can make, even though they're thinking they're doing everything right, here are a very small number of key mistakes that you should definitely avoid. Okay, we talked about exercise. Well, the importance of exercise in several different segments, we touched on to it. So let's say you finally got the message that you should be exercising. You read my book, Lifelong Health, Learn How to Control Your Genes to Stay Young with Age, available as an ebook at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and so on and so on. And when you read the exercise session, you will learn how to exercise in order to build muscle, or how to exercise to just maintain the muscle mass that you have. Well, when you build muscle, it's like building a building. What do you need when you build a building? You need building materials, right? And the building materials are the amino acids. Well, amino acids, are they available in your body all the time? No, they are not. As a matter of fact, when you put protein into your mouth, you chew it up, you swallow it down, it goes into the digestive tract. It takes about 2.5 hours for that protein to be taken apart into amino acids. And the amino acids are utilized by your body for the various different processes that it needs. And that's not only building muscle. That is forming enzymes, immune reactions, and a number of compounds. Now imagine if you in the morning, and a large percentage did that, go to the gym without having any food in your stomach. Your blood sugar is relatively low. Your body says, bring the blood sugar up to normal, but you didn't have any food. So what does your body do? It actually takes amino acids and it converts the amino acid to glucose. But if there's no amino acids floating around, where do they get them from? And what are you there for in the gym? You're there for in the gym to maintain muscle mass and to train your muscle mass. Your body will actually take muscle mass apart into the basic amino acids, and it can change the amino acids into glucose, the blood sugar, to maintain the blood sugar, because that's an absolute number one priority. When blood sugar drops, we have several different extremes. We have hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, which induces tremendous hunger mechanisms. It induces about 7 different mechanisms in your body that are, well, to be polite, negative for your overall health. So the best thing is when you go to a gym, make sure to have at least some protein and some quality carbohydrates, and maybe take some of your basic vitamins, give it a little bit time to digest, and then you go to the gym. The emphasis is, as I just pointed out, a 2.5-hour time segment in which proteins are digested into amino acids, and they're available to your body to build muscle or just maintain the muscle or to create immune functions or to form some enzymes. I mean, there's dozens of reactions. And we can actually calculate the amount of protein that people need in order to maintain optimum health. That's the basic nutrient. The lubricants that make things work are the vitamins and the minerals. So if in the morning you take some good protein, some lean protein, some good carbohydrates, possibly raw vegetables, some fruits, take some vitamins, that covers the whole spectrum, and you are safe. Well, that was one of the most important, or I would say biggest mistakes people can make. Well, next one. Again, people who come and tell us, I'm doing everything right, and I'm really feeling miserable. All this anti-aging stuff doesn't really work, and so on and so on. Well, in an evaluation, the next important step is, which I pointed out right in the beginning, when we look at all the different variables that contribute to anti-aging, the foundation for a building is to supply the basics, the basic nutrients, the basic conditions, the labor to put the building materials together, to build the floor level, and then you go to the next level up. And the next level up is actually what's called hormone replacement therapy. And in this hormone replacement therapy, we find in aging research that as we go through different stages in our life, if we don't practice the foundation health practices correctly, then the hormones are greatly affected. And so it's a chain reaction that goes from one area to another. So let's say we have the foundation correctly. We're doing the right exercises. We have some quality nutrition. We have a tendency to, or we learn how to deal with stress. What else is there? Remember what I used to say, them are the basic things? It's a detoxing. Many years ago, there was this basic approach when it came to drug management, right? Telling people not to do drugs. Oh, just say no. Well, I was one of the very first one on the national show to say this is about the biggest nonsense there is. And in agreement with me were people from Narconon, the anti-drug counseling people, supported by FASE, F-A-S-E, Foundation for the Advancement in Science and Education. And basically what they were saying is drugs and other toxic chemicals in your body, they stay in adipose tissue, and you have to get them out of your body. And in order to show what they were preaching, that means we need to get these drug metabolites out of the body. We have to do a detoxing. And they developed a program called the niacin-based sauna detox program. And again, you can read up in chapter 5 in my book. It's about detoxing, lifelong health, learn how to control your genes to stay young with age. And we showed that by removing the toxic chemicals from your body, we had a much higher effectiveness, 80%, in getting people off drugs than just say no. And here we are, again, at the end of another segment. Thank you for listening to Here's to Your Health. We still have a lot of things to talk about. Joshua Lane is out on assignment to follow up on something interesting. We'll talk about this next week. And so thank you for listening in. And we are definitely more than just talk. And we are growing. And we certainly appreciate your listening in to us and following our optimum health and anti-aging non-drug approach. And God bless.